Outside in the warm Miami air, Winchell turned to me.
What was your name again, kid?
It's still Heller. Nathan S. Heller.
Aren't you gonna spell it?
Look, I don't want to be in your story.
Good, because you're not. You're Chicago, right?
Born and bred.
What do you make of that, in that cell back there?
You're New York. What do you make of it?
It's horseshit. I think that little bastard hit Cermak. I think he thinks he's dying from that stomach of his, and the mobsters probably promised to support his family back in Italy in return for him taking Tony out, and for his silence. What do you think?
I think you're right on the money. But if you print it, nobody will believe a word.
What's the guy to do? Bullshit they'll believe. Take it from me. Facts only bore 'em.
Why do you talk like that?
Yesterday, before it was almost dark, I looked out the window and I could see Ma standing near the blue gum trees.
Please, don't.
Last night, I could hear her nails scraping against the roof.
Stop it.
Sometimes I hear her breathing.
It's just the wind. I've told you, flapping against the window.
But it's not. The curtains, they flap and flap. It's because she's angry.
She's dead. They're both dead. Dead and buried. Scattered all over the place, remember? Tim. He's back. Everything's gonna be okay. Come on.
Hey, let's get media. Nope, let's get physical media. Okay, that's a funny name. Okay, I'm Breck. I directed The Crazies, and I'm really excited that we're coming to physical media with a new HDR transfer this spring. Check it out. All right. Hey, let's get physical media. I'm so glad there are fans of actually buying DVDs out there. I'm really excited that Crazies will be coming with a new HDR transfer to physical media, to 4K and HDR, ready to show you guys. So check it out. That was terrible. Hey, let's get physical media. So happy that there are fans of The Crazies out there and fans that are gonna buy the physical disc. We're doing a new HDR transfer, which I'm thrilled to be putting out there, and I hope you guys will check it out.
Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. It is I, your pharaoh of physical media, Robert Meyer Burnett, and I'm coming at you, imagination connoisseurs, you members of this, the Post-Geek Singularity community. This is Let's Get Physical Media 217 or something. I don't know. What I do know is this is our 5th anniversary show. And like My Pretty Pony or My Little Pony, we're friendship and magic here in this mug. We love it here at the B&B Motel. We added a Sea Wing this year. We're having all kinds of fun. But you know what? You can listen to me talk about it all you want. But that's not what you want. What you want is the man, the myth, your favorite trash panda, a man who comes from a town that doesn't have a very good football team. But what can you do? He's in Germany. They're going to start conscripting their own population again. It is Mr. Dieter Bastian.
Well, Rob, thanks for the great intro once again. And since Rob and I don't want to be disturbed tonight when we do our show, I say, not the time, helicopter, not the time. And I say, greetings, imagination connoisseurs, Dieter here. I'm Rocky Like Hurricane, and welcome to the B&B Motel for Let's Get Physical Media, where we have to go a little bit back because people are always upset why they didn't do a show. So 2 weeks back, I got the flu, told Rob, couldn't do it. Then I had the idea, we do it the next week when I've still gotten better. We would do it Friday, because Friday would have been the actual date when Rob aired the first episode of Let's Get Physical Media. But there's always, Rob has to do the John Campea show. He would have do it after, but sometimes people need a break, and it would be way late for me. So we decided, come on, let's skip it. I had an early shift Monday, and we know the last episode of the 5th season will probably go longer than usual. We said, okay, we postpone it. So we're here. We are back now. No, Rob has not fired me. No, we had not a dispute. We are back. Rob, we are back.
But you know who else is back? You know who we've decided to bring on right now? You know, rather than wait. I'll tell you. Max Allan fucking Collins, dude, welcome to Let's Get Physical Media's 5th anniversary show. And you know what? I think we should start off. We should start off by letting you announce something between you and I and Imagination Connoisseurs Unlimited happened. We finally have some news that we can share on this show, and I want you to share it with the folks at home.
Well, we did a little thing called True Noir. The assassination of Anton Cermak. Do you remember that?
Let me think. Do I remember that? I might have some recollection of a year and a half of my life waiting for your script to show up. Oh wait, no, your script showed up always on time. It was me who took a long time, but I do remember that. Yes, sir, I do. And
well, do you also recall that we've been waiting for a distribution deal? And I will make you answer that because we have a distribution deal. Skyboat Media, who have done a lot of my stuff, my audiobooks, are on their list. And the gentleman there, Stefan Runicki, liked what we did and wanted us to come aboard. And we have signed and sealed and delivered the contract.
This is outstanding. I'm happy for the whole team. You know, thank you, Max, for writing a great script. Thank all the great actors. I mean, finally somebody respected the cast we put together for this. And what I love about it is they're going to make physical media CD copies. Now, this does not affect delivering the perks to the Kickstarter donors. So I'm doing things like the script book, the soundtrack album, and the soundtrack album's great, and then the Blu-ray. So we're still doing that. But they are going to produce CDs of the actual audio drama that will be in libraries across the English-speaking world. And then it will be available on every platform. So maybe, you know, I'll change the copyright to 2026 and we can be nominated for a Grammy Award. Maybe. I don't know. But I'm very excited about this. Congratulations, Max, and to the whole team.
Well, I'm very proud of it. And I will say to the director, which is you, Rob, that of all of the things that have been adapted from my work, and I include Road to Perdition, the film, the Academy Award-winning film, this is my favorite.
Wow.
This is the one that most accurately conveys what I intend. Now, it may have something to do with the fact that I wrote it.
I was going to mention that. I didn't want to harsh your mellow. But I have to say, I mean, one of the interesting things about doing this, I'd never made an audio drama before. And for me, in terms of everything I've ever done in my career, I was able to do this my way from beginning to end. First and foremost, finding great material and getting the best writer I could find to adapt his own book. But also, I came up with my own sort of workflow, and it worked really well. And I have to give a huge shout out to Mike McDonald and the entire team at Private Island Audio, and Rob and his lovely wife who administers the facility, and Frank Koralchik who shot some behind the scenes, and of course Phil Dingledine and Mike Bodden, our other partners, and Christine Sheeks, our fellow producer, who also got us put that tremendous cast together and worked tirelessly. I mean, 25 actors I never thought I'd be working with, much less creating something like this, a 4.5-hour audio drama. So it's really exciting. It's really exciting to have our work recognized in this way and to have real, true international distribution where it'll be on every audio platform that exists. And I want to especially thank the people that supported the Kickstarter, that came in and gave us our seed money that we needed to begin the process and start hiring actors. Without them, and there were other people like Major Chai Chai who came in and helped, and it was really fantastic. And other people, Kevin Kane at Hands of Coffee, he made True Noir coffee and came out to Comic-Con to support troops. So we had a lot of great people, and at the end of the road, it's never, it could be the greatest thing in the world, but if people can't hear it, so now they're going to hear it. And I did get a list of deliverables. They want to have all of our artwork, and hopefully we can supervise that and make sure it's cool. So that's a good way to start our 5th anniversary show.
Yeah, and I should say that I had done 2 audio dramas before. Excuse me, with Stacy Keach playing Mike Hammer in 2 of my Mike Hammer scripts I wrote, and one of them won an Audie, and the other one was nominated for an Audie, so they weren't too shabby, and I was very proud of them. But the level of artistry that went into this, thanks to you, Rob, the editing, the handling of the actors, particularly the sound design and the score, this is a whole nother level. Even having done some things that I was, Stacy Keach, it's not too shabby.
No, I forgot, you just reminded me, I need to interject, and I have to give, I would be very remiss, I can't believe I forgot to mention him, Alexander Bornstein, created a feature film worthy film score for an audio drama, and he elevated the material to another level. And I've been working with him for 10 years now. I met him on the ill-fated Axanar project, where I was impressed with his music. He scored a movie I edited called Paradox that I edited 10 years ago. He wrote the theme song to Robservations, and he just came in and blew us all away with his Nathan Heller theme and everything he did for the audio drama. Absolutely incredible work.
I would also like to congratulate Dieter on the 5-year and 2-day celebration we're having today.
The last episode of season 5. And we really need to know from the Burnettwork if we continue, if we will get greenlit for season 6.
Well, you know what? Show. I have to tell you, I heard from the network higher ups. We did, we were on the bubble, as they say. We were on the bubble.
Correct. On the shopping block.
We were on the chopping block. We almost got canceled. Everybody keeps talking about the death of physical media and who cares about it. And luckily, cooler heads prevailed, and we will be sailing into 2026 knowing we have a full renewal for our 6th season. And
nice.
And we've got sponsorships from people like Kino Lorber and Lionsgate Limited and Warner Archive. And, as studios change hands, we wonder, will they still be making physical media? But our beloved boutique labels will be, which we'll talk about. So that's exciting. Dieter, I wanted to ask you, take the kids back. How did this show start?
Well, it started, obviously, I followed Rob on Collider, his early days with John Campbell. Then Rob did his own show on Observation, and I totally had a vibe for this guy, loved his voice, and I followed him there. And Rob was totally inviting his own community, sending in letters, sending in videos. It sent videos, letters, and we both know, loving physical media, and then COVID actually shut the world down and shut the traffic down, considering ordering physical media internationally from different places. And Rob did send me an email and said, could you help me out? I want to get the rollerball set from Cape Light that came out in Germany, and his order was canceled. I said, yeah, sure. Not a problem. And then Rob said, dude, let's Skype. And this was the first time I was actually really nervous, because speaking English is not my, I'm not the best, But we did Skype a little here, a little there, And then Rob said, "Would you like to do a physical media show with me?" And I said, "Yeah." But in total honesty, I said to Rob, internet can be a cruel place. If the feedback would be too negative, I will stop. But no, Rob, we have 5 years behind us. What can I say?
And people
That's
love you way more than they love me. So, and that's
sometimes,
okay.
Rob, sometimes.
I'm here to show
Sometimes.
and bring the world together. I'd like to buy the world a Coke and keep it company. That's what I do.
And
now we have
the
Max
question is
Allan
actually,
Collins.
when did Max stumble across our show?
Oh yeah, Max. The whole reason that we met was because you watched this show, I think.
Well, I think I discovered Robservations first, and then discovered physical media because I'm a physical media collector. You might be able to tell from my office, and so I really took to this show. And I have to compliment you, Rob. You were able to talk the suits at the top of the Burnettwork into giving us a renewal.
Well, actually, they were worried about your salary, and I said we'd capped it. I said we capped it. And, they wanted to know whether Dieter knew how much you were getting paid and if that was going to cause any consternation between the three of us. And I said that both Dieter and I recognize that you're the star here. You're the man who is going to executive produce the Mike Hammer movie at Skydance. And
Headliner gets the most money, Rob. It's
I mean, although I did point out that the one drawback is, your biggest movie, Road to Perdition, not available as a 4K disc. And so that was what convinced them they didn't have to pay you top dollar. They were able to bring down the salary, and they said, well, call us back when he finally gets a 4K of Road to Perdition that comes out based on his work. You can still get the graphic novel, but the graphic novel's not a 4K movie disc. So luckily, I was able to keep you here and keep the show alive. And the powers that be, they might have taken away my American Express card, but we're still doing the show.
So I swayed it, basically.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, all right.
So we're all here.
Well, Dieter,
your check's in the mail, Mix.
Dieter, all I have to pay to be on the show is $100. What does he charge you to be on the show?
Hey, you're not supposed to talk about salary in public. That's very gauche. It's gauche.
Yeah. I get contacts from all over the world. That's my salary.
Truly,
I think I get twice as much as you do.
I get twice as much as you do.
We don't talk about that, Rob.
Yeah, it's true. We don't.
I told you I will send you the bill when you get that #1 box office hit. Then I will come for my money.
And you come, and that's very fair. That's what Mark Altman did when we made Free Enterprise. I owed him $14,000, and when we got paid for the script, I said, "Here you go." That's true, by the way. I think I wanted to ask all three of you, with the pending sale of Warner Brothers, we have different suitors. We've got Comcast, NBC Universal, Netflix, and, of course, Paramount. Warner Brothers has been a stalwart supporter of physical media. They have, my favorite person in the world who works in physical media, George Feltenstein, who is a national treasure. He runs Warner Archive. He should be running the physical media for all the studios. I've said make him the film czar because he knows where all the negatives are buried. But I do worry that if a company like Netflix did acquire a studio like Warner Brothers, would they continue to make physical media? Because that is not part of their business plan. We used to go to the tuna train to get Netflix shows on physical media.
Yeah.
I would ask both of you, what do you think moving forward into 2026? I'll tell you something that was really disturbing to me. They released more upgrades to various AI software this week, and it has now gotten to the level where it's almost photorealistic. I saw AI-generated behind-the-scenes videos of the production of Space 1999 that were created with AI, and they were very, very convincing. And I think that this past week might be the week where we all have to take a pause and wonder, is history in trouble? Are we going to be able to, those who control the world, control those who control history, control the world, and now we have AI tools that are almost indistinguishable from reality, and people are starting to go back and make behind-the-scenes footage that never existed before. But in 20 years, are people going to know that? And is that even important? So where do you feel, both of you, I'd ask you, Max, to start, where do you think the future is for physical media, and is it going to still be relevant?
I don't know. I frankly don't know. That I know we've got the boutique labels who are helping us out, but they're going to run out of stuff at some point. I'm already seeing things out on physical media in elaborate boxes that are frankly not really worthy of elaborate boxes.
Bottom of the barrel.
Those, and they can always seem to be able to sell 1,000 or 1,500 copies of anything. But as a consumer, I'm only buying the stuff that I really like. I've been collecting physical media since the beginning. I'm a Betamax, guy, and I've picked every wrong, every wrong category to be in. I mean, I have friends who would call me and say, "Well, which of these new things are you going to buy?" And I tell them, they say, "Well, we'll get the other one, because that'll be around, because VHS will be around and Betamax won't be around. HD won't be around, but Blu-ray will be." So my track record.
I lost that war too, Max. I lost that war too.
Well, so I have this collection, and I do look at it sometimes and think about, what's my son going to do with all of this stuff when I'm gone? He once threatened to go on YouTube and pluck something from my library every week, blind, and then review it. It would be Kurosawa one week and the Bowery Boys the next, that kind of thing. But the idea that, I don't know how AI figures into it, but the idea that we don't have personal libraries anymore at some point, because I do not trust the people out trying to make money taking care of history, as you said, Rob. Taking care of making sure that they tell us that everything's going to be available, but it isn't, as you well know. And that's the big lie where physical media and streaming is concerned. Stuff just goes away, and that's chilling, to me.
And relying on analytics, you're what, as we get, I always say that pop culture has a half-life of 20 years. As those years tick by, the audience doesn't even know these things exist, so they can't find it, and there's nobody really curating. The interesting thing about cinema, I've always maintained that cinema was the art form of the 20th century, because it was the encapsulation of all of the arts up to that point, with the added benefit of technology that didn't previously exist. So it is possible. The first feature film was only made in the first couple of years of the 20th century. And the Kelly Gang, it was made in Melbourne, Australia. So it's possible. We're only basically 120 years into this art form, but so much of it, you can't get kids today to watch kids today. I mean, they're going back and discovering things, but get them to go back and watch Sunset Boulevard or All About Eve or Double Indemnity. It's almost impossible. And without analytics, they're not going to be, the companies are going to say, well, what's the point? What's the value of these movies if nobody is watching them? And I think that's the real danger, and that's why people collect physical media. But that'll only last for so long. I mean, I think that if we can not destroy ourselves, and when our alien overlords finally show up and disclosure becomes real, maybe they will say, you really should preserve, you humans preserve the culture of cinema. That's how we learned all about you. We've been watching the historical broadcasts like in Galaxy Quest for years. We love those early movies of the 30s, those pre-Code Haze films. Turn us on. So I think that we really should think about our culture, and are we going to allow our culture to be just driven by analytics? And I fear that so many of the movies Dieter collects will never be seen again.
Correct, Rob. At least they are still here, you know.
And that's a bad
And for
thing.
me, Rob, actually, the worst scenario would be if Netflix would purchase Warner. If you think about 20th Century Fox getting together with Disney, we still get from Disney those titles, you know, on physical media. But Netflix buying Warner, that could be really, really a blow, I think. Even if I
think
love
so, too.
Netflix, but I think Paramount would actually be the best thing that could happen to us. Or Comcast with Universal. But Netflix would be really, really an epic fail, I think. But we can't hold it, Rob. Let's see how it shakes out. Because the most thing I would like, Warner stays independent as it is. You know,
Me too. I think
that's out of our range, and even our bidding, Rob, with 110 euros was not enough to buy
we tried.
Warner Brothers.
I mean,
for
you know,
ourselves.
we tried. We tried to convince him it was 110 billion euros, but unfortunately, we couldn't. I just have to say, I did get a package from one of our esteemed guests, or one of you. I got a package from Max Allan Collins. Now, he did send me the German media book for Waterworld, which I did not have. And this, of course, has the Ulysses cut. You have this, Dieter. But this wasn't, I mean, this was cool. And I thank him for sending this to me. But you know, there's only one person on planet Earth. Or if you want to go back in all of human history, there's only one human being who could have also included something else with this disc. And that is the novelization of Waterworld. The novelization of Waterworld. And oh, wait a minute. Who wrote this? Max Allan Collins wrote the novelization of Waterworld. That's pretty cool. And yes, he did write to me. Rob, who says I'm not a sci-fi fan. Who says I'm not a sci-fi fantasy writer? Well, right there. There's the proof. And now I have a Waterworld novelization signed by the author who I've come to adore and who I get to stream with. In all of human history, this man right here is the only person that could have given me a Waterworld novelization signed that he wrote.
Now, you know, I also wrote the young adult novelization of Waterworld, and it was one of the 50 best-selling YA books that year. The other 49 were by R.L. Stine.
Wow.
That's true.
Wow.
So I'm one of the two most best-selling authors that year in the YA category.
Why would they need a different... Who decided to do a YA version of the Waterworld novelization?
That's the movie. That's the movie, Max.
Yeah, I think, you know, I do think that's particularly dumb because one of the things I have found about the novelizations that I did, for about 20 years, I was one of the go-to guys to do novelizations. And a lot of I always insisted on putting my name on the books, not a pseudonym, and my agent was against that. You want to put your name on these junky little books? I said, yes, because people read them. Young people read them. And then and if you get somebody when they're young, they stick with you. And so, do you know what I get more letters about than Nate Heller?
What happens in the Sea Wing?
No, that's true. That's a whole different thing. The Mummy books I did all three of the Mummy movies, Brendan Fraser movies. I did all three of those, and I'm constantly getting emails, fan letters about those.
Nice. Wow.
Anything I ever wrote.
Now, what do you attribute that to?
They're pretty good. They're pretty... Because I really had an attitude of that, and I think this is true of a lot of people doing tie-in work. I took it very seriously. My goal was to make the book, the novelization, seem like the book that the movie was based on. So a lot of people think I wrote The Mummy and Air Force One, and I created Saving Private Ryan, and I created I'm a fucking genius.
Clever cookie.
But let me say something on the topic that you raised before, Rob, because when I hear Dieter talk about the various studios, all I can think of is all of them. It's always about totally the bottom line. No, they don't give two shits about popular culture or art or storytelling. So where did storytelling begin? Probably around the campfire, right?
Sure.
There was some lazy guy like me who said, "Well, you guys go out and do the hunter gathering thing. No, I'll sit back here and cook up something for you when you get back. I'll have a story for you, so that I don't have to, work for a living." And that's basically my philosophy. But my point is, I think it's up to us, the imagination connoisseurs, to pass this along, just like storytelling used to be passed generation to generation to generation. Because so I sit down with my grandson every Saturday. He's 10 years old, and we've been doing this since he was 5. And I show him stuff, and I give him books, and because we are the librarians here.
Right.
We need to pass this on. This won't die unless those of us who love it allow it to.
No, I totally agree with that. To that end, you brought up things like the boutique labels. And one of the fun things over the last 5 years is to see the proliferation of all of the boutique labels and what they have done. I always talk about Second Sight, and they've put out some great stuff, and they really care. Arrow has really stepped up their game. And companies like Deaf Crocodile, of course, Criterion keeps releasing bangers. And there's so many little boutique labels that have risen up. Severin has been, they're not little, but they keep releasing really interesting stuff. And I feel like I should just sit there and run down a list of all of the the boutique labels. I should have made one and showed all the logos. Lionsgate Limited, which is a studio that has created a boutique label, which I think is really interesting. I think that business model, it seems to be working for them. And, some of those labels like Kino Lorber, Max, who you've done work for, Audio, you and Heath over at Serial at Midnight have done great work for. And I've got to give a shout out to Matt Berry at Kino, who reached out to me a few years ago. And not only has Kino been sending me discs, but they've hooked me up with interviews. Like I was able to interview Greg Lemley about the documentary Kino put out on their movie theater chain and what happened to the Lemley theaters. It was called Only in Theaters during COVID. And that was really, really cool. So not only did Matt Berry reach out to promote Kino's discs, but he's been able to hook me up. Like, he didn't even, I didn't ask. He came to me and he said, do you want to do this? Can you help me out? So that's been really fun to have people recognize what we're doing. And, Kino Lorber has been doing some great stuff. I mean, they've been mining the studio's libraries and putting out very, I never thought, I have to show this because I love it so much. So that this is what Kino Lorber does that I love. So this is something new. I'll show this. So Kino Lorber put out all 4 airport movies from Universal.
Yeah.
And I would have thought Universal would have, but no, Kino Lorber put them out. And Max, you had the joyous experience of watching with your lovely wife, Concorde Airport 79.
And we loved it.
Right?
For all the wrong reasons.
Well, I have to say that Kino Lorber kind of went all boutique. And not only did they release the individual movies, which you can get with, of course, O-ring slipcases, they also put out the movies as a box set. And this box set has the beautiful matte finish, the very a Second Sight matte finish that I love so much. And then it's the slipcase comes out. And, some people might not like these when the discs are in these.
I like them.
I do too.
I like those.
I do too. And then awesome. This is pretty
Can't wait
bad.
to get mine.
Yeah, this is pretty badass. So
careful, Rob. Careful.
The disc is falling out. But I want to say that, and there's something we'll talk about a little later that they're also doing this for. So I mean, even Kino Lorber stepping up their game because they've got different tiers. They've got their non-slipcase Blu-rays, their slipcase Blu-rays, and now they have. I mean, they put out box sets before, but this is the heavy paperboard box. It's not like their film noir boxes, which are fine, but they're just regular paper boxes. But this is stepping up, and the fact that they did it with My Beloved Airport movies. God bless Kino Lorber. So
the price is a little bit tighter instead of purchasing them individually. You get a little bit of a better.
And having them individually, it's great because I can pass them on to my friend Alvaro, and he can I can pass it on, pass it forward. So, but it's really interesting to see how the boutique labels. Arrow made a big deal with Warner Brothers. I mean, we've seen they're putting out Under Siege next, which is my favorite Steven Seagal movie. I think it's actually a legitimately good film.
You were able to narrow it down to just one?
What? One Steven Seagal movie? Well, Steven Seagal's output. Dieter Bastian must. Do you love Steven Seagal movies? Early Steven Seagal movies.
The early work, Rob. The early work. There's one, I would say, until Klimmerman, and then we're dropping a little bit.
Yeah.
And I remember Klimmerman was one of the first DVDs I got back in the day, 97, 98. I think Klimmerman from Warner was one of the first, the snapper case.
Hey, Dieter, can you kick up your volume a bit?
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, just because.
A little.
Just a little.
So, Dieter, are you saying you won't watch just anything?
Where are you talking to, Max?
I'd like to ask you a question. Because all of the incredible things that are coming out from the boutique labels and box sets, there was a time when there weren't that many to choose from. But now there's an avalanche of them. And how does, let's say, a connoisseur like Dieter Bastian decide what to buy?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, because I think this might be in the last 5 years the question that I get the most about my own life is how the hell does Dieter Bastian decide to buy what he buys? I'm like, well, are you interested in how I'm doing? No. I just want to know how Dieter Bastian purchases these shark movies from all over the world.
Well, I was actually expecting a new one, Rob, Beast of Wars, but it got a little bit, the modern times got delayed. Didn't get it for this show. Hopefully for next week, because good things about that one. It's just, browsing and finding movies that, are not the big blockbuster, the usual stuff, Then, of course, do a little bit of research, and it's not too shabby on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes, and say, okay, I'll give it a shot.
What's your cutoff on IMDb? 3?
Thank you. a little bit higher,
Dieter, would you buy a beautiful box set of a movie that you thought was just okay?
I would think so, Max. Because for me, packaging does a lot, especially cover artwork. Because later I will show a movie that I totally love, one of my favorites of this year. But I bought the French edition, but I can show it already. But I can't understand it because there are no English subtitles. But I love how they did. It is actually like a book. It's The Ugly Stepsister, one of my favorites this year, which I already own as the German media book. So I wouldn't need it actually purchasing again. But this is really, really nice. It's really not a media book. It's really like made to be a book. So you have the disc. The disc here is slipped in here. And then, of course, you have all the cool stuff in here about the movie, and it's one of my favorites. So probably the higher value, the higher I value a movie, the more often I purchase it. So it comes with Dolby Vision. This is a 4K, but not a Blu-ray, so it's just a 4K. But I totally love how they did it. Love the different cover artwork, but it doesn't have English subtitles. At least It doesn't says on the back, but I was thinking about, do I send it back? But when I got it, I love it. I love it how did it. One of my favorites this year, the Ugly Stepsister.
Max, what about you?
Actually,
what is something that you? I mean, is packaging a factor in why you would buy something?
Frankly, I do wrestle with this, and I'd like to ask you guys, before I answer that, I'd like to ask both of you, how often do you upgrade from Blu-ray to 4K? Dieter?
I would say on our show pretty regularly, actually. You know, sometimes I wait until perhaps a review is out, or if a review is out earlier than the movie, and the review would be saying something like, no, it's middling or just a small upgrade, then perhaps I'll wait perhaps for a price drop. But actually pretty regularly, you know, like you said, Max, we are collecting over the time and we're used to, you know, from VHS going to Laserdisc, going to DVD, going to Blu-ray, and now to 4K, you know. At least we hope 4K is the end of the line.
It is.
You know? But considering our show, I would say pretty regularly, actually. On the upgrade.
You know, the funny thing is, to me, and Kino Lorber is a great example of this. You have the regular Blu-ray that comes in the regular case, but when they add an O-ring to it, a slipcase, it first of all, it squares it off if you have OCD. It squares it off for your putting it, you know, in your collection. But it's like an extra added, like Kino Lorber is the best at this in terms of the reversible sleeves. You know, I don't understand like that's an extra added expense. And I haven't quite figured out with Kino Cult. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. A lot of the times they do. But that means they have to find usable artwork. Like somebody has to go figure out like where are we going to get this artwork from? And for a lot of their cult titles or classic titles, sometimes we'll get, you know, 3 different artworks. There'll be a different artwork on the slipcase or the O-ring, and then the disc itself will have a reversible sleeve that has 2 different covers, so you get 3 different covers. But for me, all the way back to, this was not true of VHS, by the way. VHS I didn't care. I actually didn't like when Warner Brothers would put VHS tapes in the cardboard boxes with the tray, like their early ones, they had oversized boxes, and because the tapes were already kind of big enough, so I didn't mind just having a cardboard box you could slide the tape in and out of. But when Laserdiscs, when I went full on Laserdisc, and you would get a gatefold Laserdisc, like an MGM gatefold Laserdisc or a Criterion trifold Laserdisc, you know, like a John Woo, the hard boiled or the Killer
or Pioneer one.
Yeah, or Pioneer would do like The Doors. They did Platoon. You know, you would get these beautiful, and that goes back to the LP days. You'd get LP box sets and stuff, and to me, I love the fact that a movie with packaging is made special. You know, and as I've often joked, my Laserdisc of Dawn of the Dead, the Japanese Laserdisc of Dawn of the Dead, the chrome box that I had I said I would be buried with that. Well, that was until Second Sight announced their Dawn of the Dead box set, and even though it's smaller, all the different versions, the hardcover books they include, I mean, Second Sight goes to town. And then other companies like Severin, like all these haunts are yours, or whatever, the folktale, will do an incredible box set, or they'll do great slipcases and stuff. And, you know, Criterion, people get mad when they do like a Train Spotting, an oversized Train Spotting 4K. They're like, what the hell is this? And I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, that's rad.
I don't know, Rob, have you seen how big the magazine actually is from A24? I thought it was a normal size, but it's really a big collection, actually.
And then, of course, Imprint goes all out with the Keep box set, but that's too much. Like, I did not go for Neverending Story or the Keep. No. I mean, it just, to me, there's a limit. I think the biggest box set I have that I really, truly, dearly love is the Emmanuel box set you sent me.
Have fun too.
That box set is dope. And now Severin's putting out more, but that comes with movie posters and all. I mean, if I had a bathroom connected, like one day I want to get a bathroom connected to the Robservatory here, so I don't have to keep going up and back and forth. But I want to put all kinds of like X-rated posters in the bathroom.
And the Dune was pretty big too from the measurements.
Yeah, the Dune box set I love. I mean that Emmanuel, but the Dune box set from the Coke, now Cape Light, is incredible. I mean that box set is absolutely incredible. And it came
I hope, Rob, the day comes when you can go into the bathroom with your Emmanuel box set in pride. And so now that you're building your special bathroom, I don't want to know any details.
No. It's for guests. It's for guests.
The question I have to ask, because this is the question I ask myself, isn't it the same movie? Whatever's box it's in. So if you've been collecting Blu-rays as long as I have, which is from the day they started putting them out, and that's a quality. I mean that's a good way to see a movie, unless you're on a gigantic screen. How many of these Blu-rays that I own, and I own probably thousands, need to be upgraded? Now, if they upgrade it and give me a bunch of bells and whistles, that's going to help me make my decision.
Decision easier.
Going to make it easier, but we all have libraries where we have. I would say most of our libraries have A titles, B titles, C-wing type titles, D titles, and there's some F titles because it's.
Don't forget Dieter's massive collection of Z titles.
There's that, but what I'm saying
is titles, Rob, not even C.
I said Z.
They are not all 4K worthy. Let's at least as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I have I do think the when I was buying VHS tapes starting in 1980, literally 45 years ago. Everyone knows my first videotape that I ever owned was Halloween on Meta before it became Media. Now, my whole goal is to get the best version of the movie possible. And the thing is, movies I love run the gamut. I love Z-grade movies, I love D movies, C movies, B movies, A movies, and I want the best transfer possible. And that's especially over the last 25 years since Lord of the Rings, when they actually created color grading software to grade the film in a computer. Basically, that movie was shot with a certain LUT, and they knew they were going to put it into the computer. I mean, it wasn't a LUT because it wasn't digital, but they shot it, and they knew they were going to put it into the computer and do a lot of post-processing to color grade the film. And that technology has been getting better and better and better for 25 years. So when you upgrade to 4K, theoretically, and I'm talking a real 4K upgrade, when they go back to the original camera negative, and they're able to get as much out of that negative as possible. And when you look at something like, for instance, Studio Canal's Diva, that's a 1981 movie. They just released it for not very much money in 4K. That's a particular favorite of mine. Just when I saw it, I was 14. The cinema of the look at the time with Jean-Jacques Benet and Luc Besson and that whole movement. When I looked at that disc looks incredible. I mean, it's the best representation. You've got grain. The colors are beautiful. It looks perfectly timed. It looks better than it looked when I saw it in the theater for the first time. So that's what I'm looking for. Now, will Diva sell on a 4K restoration? In America, it probably won't because no one knows what the fuck it is. But Studio Canal out of France knows that it's a pretty significant French film, so they spent the time and the money to get that version of Diva, and I've owned it on many different formats. I've owned it on Laserdisc, I've owned it on DVD, I've had the Blu-ray, and now I have the 4K. The 4K is by far the best version of that movie. But then you'll come to a movie like Amelie. Well, Amelie is a digitally graded film because it was from the early 2000s. When they digitally graded that movie, it only exists as an HD master. So they never did a film out because it was totally processed in the computer. So it only exists as a 2K master. It's never, you could up-res it, but it's not going to be true 4K.
Yeah.
A lot of the Marvel movies were up-res to 4K because they were finished in 2K because of the visual effects. 4K is basically 4 times better than HD, and HD is 6 times better than DVD. That's an oversimplification, but that's where you're at. So getting a beautiful 4K transfer, like you look at things like Die Hard never looked good on home video. The colors, it was the way it was shot until it got to 4K. And then 4K is by far the definitive version of Die Hard on film. Now, there's a lot of people like the damn fool Idealistic Crusader, who I love to watch because he's such a snob. But there are things that I love it. He calls out all the terrible things with the Bond films and Raiders or whatever. But there's also things with the technology that you can't fix. There's missing sound. They're trying the best they can, and the people that are working on these things really are. And when you can have the filmmakers involved, it's the best. The latest controversy is Criterion's remaster of Eyes Wide Shut. People are talking about as a too orange and teal. But for the most part, we live in a world of riches now with 4K. So the question, Max, I will try and upgrade to 4K whenever I can. For instance, getting the Arrow version of Life Force did not have the international version of the film, which I feel is the definitive version of Life Force. And people might laugh that I'm even talking about a definitive version of Life Force. But to get that to get the 4K version of that international version of Life Force, that to me, and that's what Arrow put out, that was essential. Now, people would say, why do you care about? I think all film should have the best version of it available on home video. How long will these discs last? We've had problems with certain DVDs failing. I have yet to find a DVD, a Blu-ray, a 4K, or a CD, and I've been buying CDs since 1983, that has failed. I've had Laserdisc rot, and that's really, it's not rot, it's oxidation.
Well, I've had DVDs. I've got bad DVDs.
Yeah.
And killer there is it's like one disc in a set. And then you're like, But I totally agree with you that everything should be available at its peak.
Yeah.
But you said you were talking about your favorites, but you have things in your collection that aren't favorites, that are on your shelf, that are worthy enough to be on your shelf. That's what I'm talking about in terms of having to kind of pick and choose, because my money's finite. I don't know about you guys, but my money's finite, and so I have to make that decision. And it's easy sometimes. If it's a Reanimator, I'll buy it a bunch of times. Just because they have these beautiful box sets and they keep upgrading it, and sure. But there's a lot of stuff that we kind of like. I mean, I'm perfectly content with my Bowery Boys set on DVD.
Well, also, but if you think back, like you go back far enough, like, do you really need the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari from the 20s on 4K? But I would say that first of all, that's a beautiful, to have that film from the 20s, in that, it's great to have that. And I think that for me, I would like to think that most of the movies I have an affection for. Like, look, Kino Lorber announced, it hasn't come out yet, when they announced they were doing the 4K of To Live and Die in L.A., we had to wait 2 years from the time they announced it to finally get that. I mean, for me, To Live and Die in L.A. is not everyone's cup of tea, as one of our viewers will tell you. And 200 Watt Studio does not like that movie very much. But for me, to get that in hand was, amazing. But what I'm really excited about is I love Craig Baxley's Stone Cold with Brian Bosworth, Lance Henriksen. I think for what that movie was and what it is and what it was trying to do, I love it for that reason. Do I want that movie in 4K? Hell yes. And Kino Lorber's putting it out.
Ah.
And there's no way you would keep me from it. You know? Nothing would keep me from it. It's I'm telling you. And it's like, do you need it in 4K? Is 2K fine? One day I have a dream of building like a 30-seat dedicated home theater with a 200-foot or 200-inch screen, maybe even bigger, and a $500,000 projector. And, you know, I've got maybe 20 years of life left on this planet, so it's a good dream to have. But I'd much rather have 4K discs than 2K, even though 2K discs look great.
I can tell.
Actually,
Go ahead.
I actually, considering our show, you know, bought stuff, considering perhaps Rob's recommendation, like, you need to watch The Coffee Table, you know? The Coffee Table was a must. Or Max did show this movie, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, but I couldn't get it from Vinegar Syndrome anymore, but I was lucky enough, it came out in Germany too. So I bought whatever it takes. You know, with Don Wilson, with Williamson, and of course, Andrew Dice Clay. But I haven't seen it. But it's just
So
a Blu-ray,
Vinegar Syndrome sold
probably
out of
for
it?
the movie will be fine. Vinegar Syndrome didn't have it anymore, Rob. So I had to go with the German one. Hopefully, the same transfer. At least I hope. But I got it, Max. I got it finally.
you sold out Vinegar Syndrome's copy. You should feel good about that.
Yeah.
Well, let me make a point, Rob. I may have not mentioned to you that I'm a Mickey Spillane fan, but
a little bit here and there.
I would kill for 4K of Kiss Me Deadly. The next movie that was made by pretty much the same people is a movie called My Gun is Quick that is barely worthy of DVD. Although I own it in Blu-ray, and I probably would own it in 4K because of that particular enthusiasm of mine. But it would be hard for me to... There are movies I own that would be hard for me to justify upgrading, is what I'm saying. Now, maybe it's just because I've collected so long, but you guys have collected a long time, too. So I'm very interested to get your attitude on this and how you're dealing with it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Dieter, what do you think? It
depends from title to title.
Yes.
Know what is coming out? What, like you said, is the new bells and whistles that come with the new edition. And luckily, a lot of the boutique labels for me were pretty unknown when I started the show. I don't know if they already existed or I just bought stuff from Amazon and got them. So I learned more actually about those boutique labels doing the show here, or more specifics about them. But they really picked up, you know, their game over the last.
Let me give you an
year.
example of something that I'm wrestling with right now, which is I like Jacques Tate's, if that's how you pronounce his name.
Tati,
yeah, I love his stuff, and I have actually 2 different box sets: the Criterion box set and one from somewhere overseas, because it had some stuff on it that wasn't on the Criterion box. And one of those movies is Playtime, which is not everybody's cup of tea.
It's a great movie.
Great movie. Not everybody's cup of tea. It's in that box set. It looks great. Now they've released the 4K. They're releasing a 4K.
Yep, in February.
And I'm just like, but I've got the box set. And that I wrestle with that. Now, what will make my decision and why I've decided to get it is it looks like there's a lot of special features and other things, you know, like a short films that he had done and so on that aren't available elsewhere. Now I'm on board. On board.
Well, let me ask you a question, Max.
And the question would be, Rob, Max, is the Blu-ray that you already own stemming from that 4K master, or is the 4K even from a new 4K and the Blu-ray is from an older master?
That's a good point, and I don't know the answer to that. But I do know I probably would buy all of his movies over again in 4K because he didn't do too many, and they're quite wonderful.
Okay, I want to ask you guys, if you have a box set that you like a really cool box set that's, say, DVD or Blu-ray only, but you love the box set, will you take your 4K discs and put them in the older packaging and get rid of the 4K packaging and just keep the cool packaging?
Actually, I don't switch stuff out against the new one. I know you have that great Game of Thrones box set, Rob, which I totally understand that you say, okay, I put the 4Ks in that wooden huge special edition, but normally I don't switch stuff out against the new one into the old package.
Because that
normally
wooden
not.
box set of Game of Thrones is like one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Yeah. No, it was one of our earlier shows when we showed our special editions as some sort of the highlight of the shows back in the day, and I remember that. And I can see doing a switch here, but normally I don't switch stuff out again. So I wouldn't take I don't know a 4K and put it in here. Normally no. But I won't buy this movie in 4K. This is enough, Max. This is enough on Blu-ray.
Okay, you're right. You're right about that, because I have seen it and I liked it, but I don't need a 4K of that movie. I really don't.
By the way, we've got
no mix and match. I don't. If you're going to commit to another copy, just put it next to the box set.
We've got some super chats coming in. I'd love to get to these super chats. Hang on, there's some good ones here. We start out with Richard Curtis. Says, I watched Nobody 2, Toxic Avenger, the new one, and Cobra this weekend, all first-time watches. Ooh. I'm also over 2/3 through Dune. What a great book, and I can't wait to start Messiah soon. Well, you're in for a treat, but you're going to go, you'll want to go from Messiah right into Children of Dune, because Messiah is relatively short, but you're going to enjoy that. Have any of you seen the new Toxic Avenger?
No.
Me, Rob, me.
Did you like it?
I thought it was pretty. I thought it was pretty decent, actually, Rob. It's a little bit actually too serious.
Well, that's good to know.
Considering Toxic Avenger, but I thought it was fine, Rob. It was fine.
I caught up with Nobody 2. I enjoyed it. Come on, Sharon Stone.
Movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Major
For me,
Chai
it was,
Chai says,
was a little bit too much a copy and paste of the first one.
Yeah. Major Chai Chai says, congratulations, Max and Robert, on your distribution deal. This is a good... Thank you, Major Chai Chai. This is a good question. Oh, and also, Major Chai Chai says, congratulations, Dieter and Robert, on 5 years of Let's Get Physical Media.
Who would have thought?
That. Richard Curtis says, this is interesting. I wonder about this. Has Max and the rest of you seen the Rian Johnson film Brick? And what are your thoughts about it? I really like it, and apart from what he did to Star Wars, most of Ryan's films are quite enjoyable. I love Brick, and I think Kino Lorber put that out in 4K.
Yeah, on 4K, right? But I need to refresh my memory about the movie itself. I think I've seen it.
Well, it was a noir story set in high school.
Yeah, correct.
Did you see that? Do you remember that, Max?
I did, and I like it. It very much was trying to do Dashiell Hammett. Kind of doing Red Harvest. I mean, which is, and Red Harvest is a lot of movies if you think about it. But also it's a movie with Richard Roundtree in it. Richard Roundtree, if it has Dieter, if it has Richard Roundtree in it, just as if it has Cynthia Rothrock in it, it goes on my shelf.
Go ahead.
And it's like, I think Richard Roundtree is like the high school counselor. How cool would it be if you went into your high school counselor and it was Richard fucking Roundtree? Yeah, I like that movie.
And Richard Curtis goes on to say, Rob, do yourself a favor and look for the Machine Head whiskey. It's called something like Shotgun Shell or Shot. Worth it for the box and the bottles. Ooh, I will definitely. Machine Head whiskey. I love that. Let's see. Cianog, is that how you pronounce it? Says, growing up in the 1980s with limited access to films, it's amazing that today we can instantly watch and learn about almost any movie made in the last 100 years whenever we want. And how cool is that? I mean, and now when the DVD era hit, so we had VHS tapes. I mean, I started in 1980, but it actually started before that. Laserdiscs actually started in 1978. But you could really only get mainstream stuff, and I remember trading terrible bootleg copies of things like Suspiria, on VHS. But when the DVD realm arrived, you had companies like Blue Underground or, Elite Blue Underground, Anchor Bay, and they were doing these like 3-disc sets of Suspiria, and suddenly you could get the movie and you could get the soundtrack album, and it was like insane. Great. And DVDs were the fastest growing consumer electronics device ever. So the studios were printing money. They were putting out everything, and transfer technology started to get a lot better. And it was incredible to go from Laserdisc to DVD, and then suddenly every cult title imaginable started to come out. Tombs of the Blind Dead, all 4 Blind Dead movies in a box set. I mean, it was great.
And there were certainly, Rob, I think, movies that made more money with the DVD sales than they did in the theater.
Oh, a lot more.
Later.
Because they were so cheap, and they came with special features as well. It made it a great... The DVDs weren't that expensive, $20, whatever, and you could get special features, and that's when I started making documentaries for the studios, and they were spending a hell of a lot of money on that stuff. And to get a movie with an hour-long documentary or something was amazing. How did you feel about the DVD? And I consider the DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K era the next era. There was the NTSC era, you could call it that, and DVD was part of that. But really, because DVDs were so cheap and they exploded on the marketplace, they really changed what was available, and the fact that suddenly the libraries, the most obscure films, were getting put on DVD and people were buying them. So I think it went from the videotape Laserdisc era to the modern era.
But my first DVD player, Rob, was actually just a Code 1 player, because America was, of course, ahead of time. And there was some stuff here considering the audio format with Dolby Digital. They wanted to do something different here. And it took some time until DVD hit the German market. So my first DVD player was actually just a Code 1 player. And I remember, especially the Terminator 2 DVD, when you have moving menus, with the chapter, and I thought, this is awesome. This is insane, And now I'm actually pretty happy if it's just a menu, that doesn't give anything away. But back in the day, moving menus were awesome.
Yeah. What about you, Max? I mean, how did you feel about the advent of the DVD era and being able to get so much cool stuff?
Well, I jumped up on board immediately, but I was a little... The idea that Laserdiscs with those big album-like formats was going to go away, I didn't love that.
No.
I didn't love that at all, and I think it was my favorite era, was the Laserdisc era. I know that it's NSTC video.
NTSC,
but I loved them. I loved the form. It was great. I still have a player that Blue Christmas poster is sitting on top of my Blu-ray player that I have, or my Laserdisc player. And that's a whole row of Laserdiscs right there. That's all music. It's all music.
And those a lot of that music stuff, especially the stuff that came out of Japan, and you could get operas on Laserdisc.
And a lot of it,
get the entire
especially
Ring of the Nibelung cycle.
The sound of Laserdisc for me were top notch. Still, some of those Laserdisc tracks, I don't think even the new 4K stuff.
No, I mean the DTS tracks. I mean, you think about the Jurassic Park. That's why people still collect Laserdiscs, is because of those tracks. And a lot of the audio commentaries, like Criterion audio commentaries, have disappeared. Like my friend Mary, an old girlfriend of mine, gave me Bad Day at Black Rock, the Criterion of that I always wanted to get, because it has the John Sturges commentary on it. And I think that was unique to Criterion. Also, those James Bond commentaries that, I mean, they were just mild, but, people said what they thought were questionable things. They went away. You can get all the stuff online now, but it was amazing. And getting getting Letterboxd movies for the first time. Getting Blade Runner Letterboxd from Criterion was amazing. And getting 2001 Letterboxd. When I moved to California in 88, the Criterion offices were on the beach in Santa Monica. And I rode, when I called Criterion and asked, can I come buy 2001 from you? And I pedaled, I got on my bike, I rode down. I didn't want to drive because there's nowhere to park at the beach. I literally brought a backpack, summertime, rode to I want to say it was the summer of 88. It might have been later, but it must have been summer of 88. And I rode my bike down there. I went to, and being in the Criterion offices on the beach, there were kids, there were parents with babies and stuff. It was like a hippie crash pad. It was awesome. And I got my 2001 disc and pedaled back home and watched it. It was awesome.
The DVD era was wonderful for me because of the video store explosion. Meant that I had there was a possibility I can make movies on a low budget and actually get to make movies.
Right.
And definitely, I did the 3 or 4 movies I did work directly for that market. There's no way they would have gone to the theater, and they did quite well, and they're still around. So I'm that's what it meant for me. And I remember sitting the day that it was released to all the video stores, waiting to see how many orders came in, how many did this chain buy, did that chain buy, and then you kind of know how your movie did.
Yeah, which was, it was great, and I too had a great experience. Free Enterprise was one of the last Laserdiscs that came out, and then we had a double disc set from Pioneer. Then Pioneer put out a DVD, and then in 2006, Anchor Bay released a new cut of Free Enterprise. Of course, it's been out of print since then, but it was a lot of fun with that DVD market because things were exploding, and Anchor Bay was great. But then, during COVID. One of the things I did during COVID when we went into lockdown, Scream Factory called and said, we're going to release The Hills Run Red. Do you guys have material? And I just sat there for 2 months in my garage making special features for The Hills Run Red Blu-ray, which is also now out of print. You can't get that anymore.
Awesome Blu-ray. It's an awesome Blu-ray.
Yeah, we went to town. It's one of the most self-indulgent Blu-rays ever. There's like 10 hours of special features. But it was great because I shot all this stuff in Bulgaria that had been sitting on a shelf for 13 years or 12 years. And Scream Factory said, yeah, well, here's some money. Go whatever you want. And I got to literally mine all of those tapes. So these eras are great. And now... let's see. We've got some more. There's a lot of super chats. These are good. Richard Curtis says, I watched the Arrow 4K of Miss 45. I thought the film was made in the late 90s. The restoration was that good. Oh, you mean this? Dieter already got this. I got this later for my Arrow release. This, again, who would have thought an R&R movie like this would get this kind of treatment? It's incredible. This is a very, in terms of the genre, this is a genre-defining version. But look, even Arrow, with their awesome matte finish, they started putting slipcases, O-rings on their discs. This is something fairly new for Arrow, which I really appreciate. And then who would have thought a movie like MS or Miss 45 would get an incredible booklet like this? This is a thick booklet, the poster, and an incredible 4K transfer. And like it says on the box, it will never happen again. So we live in interesting
and reversible cover artwork, Rob. Don't forget it.
Yes, and I just opened
on the Emery. On the Emery.
I just opened this. So I could take this out. So I would be remiss if I didn't do that. And again, thank you, Arrow, putting up the original key art. So that's pretty amazing.
Awesome.
It is awesome. So that was Richard Curtis. Then we have The Groove 14 says, Rob is a fan of Planet of the Apes. What do you think of the 2001 Tim Burton movie? I'll give credit that the ape makeup looks amazing. Max, what did you think of the 2001 Tim Burton Planet of the Apes?
Is it too late to ask for my refund?
Yeah, it is, Max.
Is it?
14 days. 14 days here in Germany.
All right.
Dieter, how did you feel about Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes?
Actually, Rob, I haven't seen it in a long time, but I remember, I don't know if it was the Blu-ray DVD. There was a card in it who depicted a timeline about the events that unfold in the movie, which made it a little bit more logical sense to me. I remember that. I don't know if it was the DVD or the Blu-ray. There was a card in it who depicted how the movie actually is put together. It for me a little bit better. But I haven't seen it in a long time.
Not a good sign that you have to put a card in to explain the movie.
To explain it to me, yeah. For me, Max, No,
Since I was, I hated it. I was really looking forward to the movie.
Yeah.
And you have to, Planet of the Apes was my jam. I mean, all 5 Planet of the Apes movies. My Planet of the Apes was my second favorite movie after the original War of the Worlds. And then that was supplanted by Logan's Run in 1976. But the Planet of the Apes movies were, I love them so much. I just thought that while Planet of the Apes, Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes was really, the production design was great, the actors were great. Yeah. I just thought the story was dumb. And then they felt they had to have this twist ending that didn't make any sense at all. And
It was the card for Rob.
Yeah, I just didn't. I didn't like it at all, and I was really disappointed by it. But like our viewer said, the makeups were great, but it was really not.
Haven't seen it in a long time.
Are you saying, Rob, that everything can be well done, but if the story sucks, you're in trouble?
That's right. I mean, you can have all the great, and that happens frequently.
It does.
And I think
wasn't it you, Max, that said a well done disappointment?
Yes, well done.
Wasn't it your quote?
There you go.
Yeah.
This is interesting. The Groove 14 goes on to ask, another Fox title, what are the most notable movies to get a Blu-ray overseas but not in the U.S.? Catherine Bigelow's Strange Days, for instance, only got a Blu-ray in Europe. Yes, and there was one here that I wanted to show if I can find it. That is a huge. I mean, first of all, I think it comes down to rights issues. You know, it depends who finances the film, and a lot of movies sometimes have domestic distribution or they split distribution up. So we don't get, or the studio itself doesn't want something. Lightstorm Entertainment, James Cameron's company, produced Strange Days. They also produced Steven Soderbergh's Solaris. And both of those films are not available on Blu-ray in the United States. They came out in Europe because they probably had different distribution deals. So, Unfortunately, they've released Strange Days twice. There was the original disc that was released 2011 something.
Pretty early.
Then there was the anniversary Blu-ray, the 20th anniversary that came out in 20.
Which is really good, a really good Blu-ray.
Incredible transfer. I mean, and I have both of them.
Good transfer.
But that's kind of what happened.
Like I said, Rob, it depends on distribution deals, Like my favorite franchise, Hunger Games, has, of course, different distribution, Lionsgate in the States, in the UK, Studio Canal in France, That can sometimes affect how a title gets distributed. But normally, I would say we get everything. But that is the thing that you will need a multi-region player, to not have come to into the space that you can't purchase a title that you want, actually. But I think the Strange Days is actually, I think it's code free. I think it's an ABC title. The Strange Days Blu-rays.
Well, I mean, it's you. It gets frustrating. I mean, it's frustrating when you can't get things, or things just are tied up. Whatever. I mean, like Dogma. You know, now we're getting releases of Dogma here
Finally,
domestically by Lionsgate, in Europe by apparently a new company that we'll talk about in just a second, and then also you have whatchamajigger is it Imprint is releasing Dogma or Umbrella? I think Umbrella's releasing.
I think Umbrella. It's Umbrella. I think.
So you've got 3 different versions coming out, and the same was true of The Keep. You know, you have the Golden Princess movies. Arrow's putting out, Shout Factory's putting them out, and also in Australia they're putting it out as well. I'll just show you. Here is the German media book that you sent me for Solaris.
Nice.
And this is a beautiful disc. And it's amazing to me that a George Clooney movie that Steven Soderbergh directed, that James Cameron produced, is not available in the United States, not in HD. And it's pretty criminal. So what can you do?
I don't know is it even available as a streaming movie, Rob, on Disney Plus, considering...
I think so, because Strange Days was on HBO, you know, and so it was. I mean, but, you know, you look at this and you think, this is, okay, we were talking earlier, I love this movie, and I love Tarkovsky's original adaptation of Stanislaw Lem's novel, but if you look at this media book, I mean, having something like this, and, you know, inside it's got artwork, and it's got essays, and it's got stuff about the film. I mean, this makes the movie special. And when you put it up, we can't even get this in the United States from 20th Century Fox. And Disney's not going to make this movie a priority. So we might never get an HD version of this on physical media in the US, which seems absolutely crazy. But again, based on box office performance or analytics, people don't know this movie, so why would they put it out? What's the demand for it?
Rob, what does it say on the back? Is it just a region code B title, or is it ABC?
It does not say. Hang on, maybe the disc does.
Okay. It's an ABC title or just B?
It honestly doesn't say anywhere here.
Doesn't say. Okay.
Let me look in the back here. Hey, look, they've even got cool. Look at these photos of Soderbergh shooting on the set. So they even had to go and get the still photography from Fox to make this disc. And so somebody was actually taking the time to think about this. And with Google Translate, I can just pass my phone over it and read the German now. So I don't mind if I have German media books. I mean, that's the coolest thing ever, is that all these Japanese discs and all these foreign discs I can now read all the books that come with them, even if they're in foreign languages. Thank you, Google Translate. So I don't know. I would imagine this is all region. Maybe it is, because Strange Days, I think, is all region.
Yeah, I think so.
And this comes out from a company called Film Confect.
Yeah.
As far as the original question about Blu-rays overseas that aren't available in the United States, a lot of TV stuff is that way. And sometimes it's available in DVD in America. But for example, I have every season of The Sweeney, which is the great British crime show. And I think recently one season of it came out over here on Blu-ray. But it's, I don't know, 5 or 6 seasons. And some of the classic stuff that's now starting to come out on Blu-ray over here, Avengers type stuff, was available over there first. And that's where I got a lot of what I have, and that, because I have a lot of that stuff.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's
not movies.
Kind of a bummer, though. let's see. The real Thomas Logan said A24's Eddington 4K Digi sold out entirely. I'm sure they'll repress it. A24 is pretty good about that. But they're doing A24 does a great job. I mean, their discs are great. I love the packaging. I love what they're doing with that stuff.
Yeah,
Clover
I think
Hill.
the 4K is just available at their store exclusive. I think on Amazon you can get the Blu-ray version of Eddington.
Yeah. I love A24's store. I love their membership, and I love, on your birthday they'll contact you and say, come to our store and pick anything you want, and they'll even pay for the shipping. Clover Hill says, "Hi gang, there's also another new boutique label to add to the long list already, announced this week, covering the UK and Ireland, called Visions Home Video, whose first release will be Dogma in 4K, followed by Good Boy and Slither." Well, that's interesting.
Okay.
Wow.
Good Boy, the dog movie, I assume.
The real Thomas
Should
Logan
be the dog movie.
says Lynn Ramsey's Die My Love is one of the boldest, most brilliant films of the decade. It's as if Terrence Malick directed A Woman Under the Influence instead of Cassavetes. J-Law wins Oscar #2 effortlessly. That's a very different opinion from my friend Alvaro, who loves Lynn Ramsey and went and saw it.
Different from mine too, Rob, because I was depressed last Sunday because we didn't have a show, and I thought, considering my depression, I would go see Die My Love with J-Lo, obviously. Where do I have it? Yeah. And I saw it, and for me, I'm using some terms from Eric Weber. For me, the movie didn't have a narrative thrust to it.
Right.
It was just her being depressive here and there. And it's just misery porn. That's what Die My Love is.
That's
no
kind
narrative
of
thrust.
that's what
misery
Alvaro
porn.
said too.
Yeah.
So,
you can extract her performance out of it, certainly, and I will certainly buy it, Rob. But for me, as a movie, did not really come together. I can totally understand why the audience is very split, but I think it's a good thing that people love it or hate it. There's no middle ground. Oh, it's meh, it's fine. No, there's only the two extremes for the movie. And I could be wrong, Rob, but there are night scenes which comes. I'm pretty sure there were day for night shoots. You get that filter over it, which never look good. This never looks good, So
I'm a Lynn Ramsey fan. I mean,
I
all the way back to Ratcatcher. So, we have to talk about Kevin. You were never really here. Or I was never really here.
So for me, Rob, just a recommendation for diehard J-Lo fans.
All right. You can watch it as a double feature with Mother.
Yeah, but
There
Mother
you
is
go.
way better. Mother is way better.
Yeah, I think so too. Now this one, you're going to like this one, Max. Apocalypse Cow asks, what is a great literary novel that's plot is rooted in a more pulp genre sensibility?
Well, that's tricky because literary novels that try to do noir, we talk about a little bit later. If we talk about Nightmare Alley, this would be pertinent. But I consider the best, the best noir or hard-boiled fiction is literary.
Right.
The Maltese Falcon is literary. All of Chandler is literary. Horace McCoy's They Shoot Horses, Don't They? And Kiss Tomorrow Goodbye is literary. Jim Thompson is literary. On down the line. So I think when they reach for it, that pretension comes along for the ride, and it's a problem.
Well, I like that answer. It's a good answer. Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, I don't necessarily think that literary and genre have to be separated.
No.
Like you said, the Maltese Falcon. that basically, as you told me, it set up many genre conventions, but it's a literary novel. Speaking of which, Max, in January of next year, actually in a little over a couple of months, you had the foresight and you kept track of when does the novel, The Maltese Falcon, your favorite novel, go into the public domain. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I love that novel. I've loved it for years. It kind of sparked the whole Nathan Heller series because of the year 1929, making me think about the fact that A Private Eye existed in its classic form at that point. So I've always had my eye on the fact that 1929 meant it would go into the public domain at some point here. And I always thought, it was always frustrating to me, and I think to a lot of people, that Hammett never did a second Sam Spade novel. For various reasons, he pretty much stopped writing. He stopped writing after The Thin Man, except for some short stories and screenwriting. And I think he was aspiring to be a literary writer, and I think he also was, he had some alcohol problems, but there never was a second book. And so I always thought, boy, I'd like to take a crack at a Sam Spade novel. And so I kind of lay in wait in the weeds, keeping an eye on that public domain date, hoping nobody would beat me to it. I wanted to be first. Let them follow me. And I know it's a little bit dangerous. It's like, I think I'll make a movie that's a sequel to Citizen Kane. Well, how good an idea is that? How are people going to look at that? How friendly are they going to take that? So I kind of braced myself, and my wife said, "You better be ready to get some criticism for even doing this." Fortunately, it's had some very good, incredibly good advanced reviews.
Wait a minute, you haven't really explained what exactly we're discussing, which is your new book, The Return of the Maltese Falcon.
I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. But yes, this is actually a sequel. It's not just another Sam Spade story. It starts up about a week after the first story ends. And one of the things I did, of course, I love the movie, but I did not allow myself to revisit the movie. And there's also a 31 movie. I didn't want any of that stuff in my head. I wanted to just have Hammett's book in my head. And I went through it many times, and I made it. I found out what characters would still be alive to come back, what characters had been mentioned who were off stage during the novel, so that I could, as much as possible, use characters that he created and situations he created, just play them out a little bit longer. So I'm very excited about this. I'm hoping people like it.
You know who else, Max, is excited about this book? Publishers Weekly, who had the first review. And let me just read their little review of The Return of the Maltese Falcon, which is coming out from Hard Case Crime in hardcover. It's 224 pages. It's $27.99. So you can go order that or pre-order that right now at Amazon. Here's what Publishers Weekly had to say. This stylish sequel to Dashiell Hammett's The Maltese Falcon from Mystery Writers of America Grandmaster Max Allan Collins, who wrote To Live and Spy in Berlin, picks up in December 1928, just days after the events of the previous novel. Rhea Gutman, daughter of the late gangster Caspar Gutman, asks P.I. Sam Spade to recover the eponymous jewel-encrusted artifact. During the course of this investigation, Spade's former lover, Iva Archer, who's also the widow of his late investigative partner Miles, demands a share of any profits from finding the Maltese Falcon that was never found in the first movie that might have gone to her husband, and drags Miles' mob-connected brother into the picture to make sure she gets what she wants. When Wilmer Cook, Gutman's vengeful former gunman, ambushes Spade, it's clear he isn't the only one hunting the Falcon. Chicago gambler Dixie Monahan is after it too. Then there's the British Museum curator Stuart Blackwood, who claims the museum legally owns the Falcon after purchasing it from the original owner, General Kamidoff. Navigating shifting alliances and playing multiple sides, Spade races rival interests to claim the Falcon for himself, and Collins keeps the prose lean and sharp, true to Hammett's style, and ushers the proceedings to a tidy conclusion. It's a clever, well-executed tribute to the hard-boiled tradition. Oh, yeah. That's from Publishers Weekly about Max Allan Collins' new novel. What's the new novel called? Yes, The Return of the Maltese Falcon, from Hard Case Crime, which you can get from the now internationally distributed Max Allan Collins, author of True Noir, The Assassination of Anton Cermak, soon to be at every audio outlet near you.
Well, there is going to be an audio. There is an audio of this being done. It's not going to be. It's not going to be with all the bells and whistles that we did. But, it's going to have the guy who has read all of the Nathan Heller novels on audio. So there's a Nathan Heller connection. Now, I specifically asked for him, and I haven't heard it yet, but looking forward to it.
Major Chai Chai says, I've pre-ordered my copy of The Return of the Maltese Falcon. Can't wait for January to get here. And Castle Grace Skull says, happy anniversary, gentlemen. And Bo Edmonds. Bo Edmonds, 5514 says, happy 5th anniversary, Physical Media brothers.
Happy birthday.
Well, we do have to do, I think we do have to show like what we did get recently. We have to follow some kind of a format. I figured there wasn't a lot of news.
Format, Rob.
And then Max has some great analysis to present us with that I thought I heard a little preview of it in the car for a couple of titles. So Dieter, first of all, what have you watched lately?
What did I watch lately, Rob? Okay. As I said, Rob, I watched Daimalov, wasn't too thrilled with it. And Rob, I purchased this digitally as a rental because I wanted to be in conversations because I don't know when I will get my Blu-ray of the Kickstarter campaign. I've seen Shelby fucking Oaks, Rob. And I have to say, Rob, and considering the Kickstarter campaign, I did get my first two things for Shelby Oaks. I did get 2 posters for it, and I even rolled. So one. So not really considering how the posters look. Not really something that probably would put up. But I've got the first stuff from the Kickstarter campaign, and I have to say, Rob, considering all the bad reviews that I've heard, how boring it is, I actually say, Rob, it's pretty decent. The thing that for me actually does not work is actually combining the stuff, which was actually the selling point for Chris, putting found footage together with a normal movie format. This is the thing that actually did not really work for me. But for me, Camille Sullivan totally carries the movie, I have to say, Rob, because I know her from Hunter x Hunter, a movie I totally enjoy. So if he would have done just a normal movie where she watches stuff on her laptop, perhaps. So for me, it didn't really work together, those two formats. But considering when it switched to a normal movie, I thought it was actually pretty decent. And I get the complaints considering the blood on her face, because Chris does something where he switches daytime and then the next shot is nighttime and she still has the blood on her face, where I say, yeah, okay, this is a little bit ridiculous now. But if he wouldn't have switched it to nighttime immediately, I wouldn't be bothered with that scene.
Let me ask you guys. Some
people complain. Yeah.
Let me ask you, Max, too, because you've made movies as well. A lot of people were both supportive of Chris Stuckman. Like, I watched Critical Drinker's review, and he was very supportive of Chris Stuckman and Stuckman's efforts, but then he tore the movie a new one. Do we owe... Like, a lot of people have come after me and said, how can you work in the entertainment industry and be as critical of Star Trek as you are? And I would say that they have more money and resources than Star Trek has ever had before. You have a world that was already built for you. You have all kinds of material that you can consult, and yet you don't do it. You don't show any kind. I think that the first thing that an IP needs is people that decide they're custodians of that IP, that are not. They don't want to inject themselves into the IP in as much as they want to tell great, innovative stories. But in the case of Chris Stuckman, do we owe? He's really part of this community, part of the YouTube film community. Has been for a long time. He's written books on. He's written a book of film reviews. Do we owe him a benefit of the doubt, or is it important that we're as critical of his work as anyone else's?
I don't know the answer to that. I know that personally, I walked away from. I was doing film reviews for a magazine called Mystery Scene for about, I don't know, 10 years, and I often was very critical of movies. Then I made one and found out how hard it was and how dismissive I had been. So I stopped reviewing. I did some reviews for Asian Cult Cinema magazine, another dead movie. I didn't kill these magazines, but they aren't here anymore.
Right.
But so I didn't do any negative because I thought it lacked grace, let's say. But however, I will talk about movies here, and I do it on my website, on my weekly blog. There's something about being in a conversational setting and a less formal setting that makes it okay. When I'm putting it in print in a magazine or a book, it maybe is not really something I should be doing as a creator myself. Now that's a little nuanced, I know, but that's kind of how I look at it. I think we always owe people trying, and I may say this because I've made some very low budget things, but I always think we should try to meet them at their own level and have a sense of the degree of difficulty, because degree of difficulty does come into this.
I agree that we should meet them at their own level, but I do think, and by the way, it is Chris Stuckman's first feature film, and he did start it out as a crowd-funded effort that he was able to place with Neon and got Mike Flanagan to come in.
Remarkable.
And the movie did, I mean, it has grossed a few $1 million theatrically.
Yeah, I think five or six, Rob. So there shouldn't be a financial.
No, I mean, that for Chris, that's a win. And, we forget that we look now, it used to be that you could follow these filmmakers. I mean, John Landis made like Kentucky Fried Movie before he made Blues Brothers or Animal House. And we don't have
awesome.
that anymore.
No.
We don't have that kind of learning curve. And of course, Chris Stuckman, he knew what he was getting into. He knew that when he made this movie that he was going to take fire. And I think that, with I as much as I'm critical of other people's work, especially something I'm passionate about, Star Trek should not be as hideously bad as it is, because you have 56 years behind it. And, when I see people doing a puppet episode that came right out of an episode of Angel, I get angry. But with Chris Stuckman, I give him all the credit in the world for actually, not only did he crowdfund a movie, but he got distribution through Neon, and he got Mike Flanagan. So for him, it's an epic win, and I think you can be and obviously I think there was a little bit more vitriol thrown at him from the YouTube community than normal.
Everything was put on a massive scale, everything in the movie. Why did she drive already out? Doesn't wait for her husband. But for me, Rob, it's decent. It's a 6 out of 10. It's not on the level of Bring Her Back or Talk to Me.
No.
And it's not even on the level that I wanted it to be, that at least would be good. But for me, it's a 6 out of 10. It's actually pretty decent, I would say. Only the aspect that actually was the selling point, combining found footage and mockumentary with a real life action movie, with a normal movie, didn't mesh together pretty well, I would say. But for me, Camille Sullivan, the main actress, totally delivers a great performance from my perspective.
Stubble McShave says, we're in trouble. when the writers in Hollywood have watched and analyzed Buffy, but haven't read Poetics by Aristotle. You are correct, sir. And the real Thomas Logan says Stuckman can't write or helm a film to save his life. Well, as Ed Wood said, my next one will be better.
But Thomas was actually not that far off my scale. He was at a 5 out of 10, so he was not that far, even if he's pretty devastating with his comments. But for me, it was actually pretty decent, Rob.
Yeah.
Then, Rob, what I have seen else, one of a great show that I've seen on Netflix, for me, a 10 out of 10, Rob, a 10 out of 10. I couldn't believe it. On Netflix, Last Samurai Standing.
Bro.
I can't recommend it highly enough. Have you seen it, Rob? Have you seen it? Let's talk
Not
about
the
it.
whole thing, but based on what I heard this was out, but I thought it was some goofy thing.
Yeah. Goofy thing? What are you talking about, Rob? You know, an awesome battle royal, like checkpoints,
it's awesome. How
far are you, Rob? Oh, how far are you?
I just watched the first two episodes. Episodes.
Isn't it awesome, Rob? Isn't it awesome? It will get.
It came out of nowhere.
It
came out of nowhere.
Certainly.
Yeah, everybody should
watch it. Yeah. And Rob, you and I were great lovers or supporters of Psycho Gorman. You know?
Yes.
And the director, Steven Kostanski, has a new movie out, which is actually a remake of Deathstalker. You know?
Right.
With Daniel Burnett, which most of us know from all the action movies. He's a stuntman. He's always in John Wick movies. Probably nobody in the first nobody is in it too. And Rob, let me tell you, this is how you do trash perfectly. I had a great time with the practical effects, fun the whole way through. So Deathstalker, totally recommendation. After Psycho Gorman, he delivered again, Rob, with Deathstalker. Totally enjoyable.
And they bring back the original logo for the film.
Yeah. So this is a movie where I saw the good reviews for it, and I said, okay, give it a shot. Totally had a blast with it. Like you said, Rob, this movie knows what it is. It totally works in that ballpark. Then as a series, the second season of A Man on the Inside with Ted Danson. Totally enjoyable for people who like only murders in the building, even if he doesn't has to solve murders. And the second season, Rob, features David Strathairn, which is in one.
David Strathairn, you mean who plays Frank Nitti in True Noir, The Assassination of Anton Cermak. By the way, our cast is everywhere. Everywhere. I mean,
season 2 of Men on the Inside.
Michael Rosenbaum's Inside of You podcast, where he interviewed his compatriot from Smallville who was incarcerated for the Nexium scandal. Yeah. That was actually a great episode of Inside of You. Wow. And David Strathairn is everywhere, but yeah, fantastic. But I keep waiting, boys, because I wanted to discuss a certain thing with you, too, to see if you've watched it. But we'll see. Are you going to get there, Dieter? Who knows? What else have you seen?
Rob, I think you mentioned the movie.
Uh-oh. Max, are you there?
I am there. I'm not frozen.
Dieter froze. Dieter. Oh, now he's back. Dieter, are you there? Can you hear me? Dieter is frozen. Hang on. Let me disconnect him and bring him back. I'm disconnecting him, and then I will. Oh wait, he's not. He got disconnected. Hopefully he'll come back. Well, Max, you're still here.
Yeah, I was going to mention we were watching American Revolution, my wife and I, the Ken Burns thing, and Adam Arkin was one of the people reading the narration.
Arkin, you mean who plays John Beam in True Noir, The Assassination of Anton Cermak?
Indeed. I mean, they really are everywhere. I mean, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Let's see. We've also got here. Let me. I won't leave Dieter. He'll come back. Richard Curtis says, I've watched the first 2 episodes of Dan to Dan. It's bonkers, and I think I might end up loving it. Also, I can't wait to see Deathstalker. I don't know what Dan to Dan is. Do you know what Dan to Dan is?
I do not.
I don't either. Wait. Wait.
Drop.
It was on your end. Well, now you're
Yeah,
back.
my internet was dropping out.
Have you heard of something called Dan to Dan?
Dan to Dan?
Dan
No.
Dan? No?
No.
Okay.
Help me out.
I don't know what it is. Richard Curtis watched it, though.
Okay. No.
So
Doesn't ring a bell.
I'm going to look it up. I want to find out, gentlemen, what is Dan to Dan? How do I, I'm so media savvy and I don't know what, I guess I am always, Dan to Dan's got 3 seasons? Oh, it's an animated series. Okay. Dan to Dan, also written as Dan to Dan, is a Japanese web manga series written and illustrated by Yukinobu Tatsu. It has been serialized in Shonen Jump and the website since April 2021, with its chapters collected in 21 volumes as of October 2025. Wow. All right, let's see what the plot of Dan to Dan is. The plot of Dan to Dan follows 2 high school students, Momo and Ken Takakura, who are, that's an homage name, who are on opposite sides of the paranormal spectrum. Momo believes in ghosts and spirits, while Okarun is convinced aliens are real and ghosts are not. To prove each other wrong, they both venture into paranormal locations, Momo to a UFO hotspot and Okarun to a haunted tunnel, and end up confronting overwhelming paranormal entities. Fuck yeah, man, I'm in. Dan to Dan. I'm watching that shit, son. That's right up my alley. Of course, I'm pro-disclosure, so what do you expect? Well, that's good. There we go, Dan to Dan. DIETS? Did you free? Oh, you're...
Yeah.
Did you have more?
Yeah, do have more. Correct. Now I'm back. You mentioned The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, the remake, which came out here way later than in the States, probably a month later. So I watched the remake, and I had a pretty good time with it, considering I love Micah Monroe and Mary Elizabeth Winstead. And the female director, let me just look up her name, Michelle Garza Cervera, did the awesome The Bone Woman, Husara.
Oh.
So as a streaming movie, yeah, she did the remake of The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. So for me, as a streaming movie, totally fine, had a good time, was totally entertaining, but I haven't seen actually the original in forever. I need
Me
to
neither.
see that.
And that, of course, brought to you by Steve Asbell, the Quiet King of Franchises, also the president of 20th Century Studios.
And like when you mentioned 20th Century Studios, Rob, I finally flew later to the party, but I saw Predator Badlands, Rob.
Oh,
and like you, I had a good time. I watched you on Versus, and I totally are on board with you. At first, I was annoyed with the android and that little monkey. But then, in the story, I thought, wait. Now I'm on board. Because he's not just a simple sidekick to have some fun with it, you know? It totally was woven into the story, and there was quite a few surprises for me, considering how the story unfolded, you know? Had a really good time with it. And for me, Rob, the best joke is actually the last sentence. Which totally made me laugh.
I don't think our esteemed colleague Max Allan Collins feels the same way about Predator Badlands.
Ooh, okay. A well-done disappointment, Max.
Interesting disappointment, I think, is the phrase. Well, my wife and I walked out of it, so I guess I would say yes, and we may not have given it enough of a chance. But there were things about it that were annoying me and annoying my wife. And when my wife gets annoyed, then we do what she wants. Okay. But I'll pick it up and finish it on the TV box, you know.
Okay. But I had a good time because for me it was the first time that we actually see the Predator, has some emotions, especially at the beginning, where Deck was really fearful that he will be getting killed here, And I was had a great time with it. And for me, it's more in the strain of the AVP franchise, I don't consider the movie in the main line, more in the sideline with the AVP movies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Considering Wayland Yutani is in it, So I put it more in the AVP strain.
Great. Now there's 2 Alien Predator timelines. Terrific.
Yeah. Not timelines, but strains, Rob. But what I especially love, considering the Predator movies, you can all watch them individually,
Right.
I only think I did go back and watched AVP and AVP Requiem. Those are the only 2 where AVP Requiem starts at the ending of AVP. Those are the only where I would say the sequel builds upon the first one. But every other movie you can totally watch separately. Even AVP Requiem you can watch separately. But it's the only one where I say it's a real sequel to something that was built before, But every other movie you can totally enjoy separately. Then, of course, one of the big ones was Frankenstein that I saw on Netflix.
Oh, hold that up again.
While I enjoyed the movie, Rob, considering your precious verisimilitude, for me it was actually a movie that was way too artificial for me. It felt like every scene was twinkled or had post-production to it. The lighting never felt real, It had a little bit. It was too artificial for me, And Frankenstein did remind me a little bit of the engineer from the look that he had, So totally fine, but for me, I was not really blown away, especially considering the look of it was very Crimson Peak-ish.
Yes, it was.
But not with the practicality that actually Crimson Peak has. It was more a little bit too artificial for me. There was not one scene where I thought there was no touch-up done later in the computer.
Max, did you watch
And
Frankenstein?
the last one, yeah.
Again, I watched about the first hour of it, boy, it seemed like I'm really tough this week. But I thought it was very precious, very too aware of itself, and too mannered. And what I'm on the same page as Dieter. I liked Crimson Peak, but this was just. I didn't like the central performance, the Frankenstein himself performance. I have heard that the last hour is better, and I probably will finish it without my wife, who didn't want anything to do with it after an hour. So I guess who runs this place now. You may have gathered, but I just think. I was so irritated by the costumes and the art direction being just so over the top, and not, any movie where you can tell they're wearing costumes, where the actors know they're wearing costumes, is probably not a good movie.
Okay.
Like I said, Rob's precious verisimilitude was actually not on board, considering.
What does Rob think?
What does Rob say?
Here's the thing. To say it's a lot like Crimson Peak. Now, to be fair, I did interview both the cinematographer, Dan Lawson, who I really love, and Kate Hawley, the costume designer, who I also really love. I want to go to New Zealand and party with Kate Hawley, let me tell you. But I think that, Guillermo del Toro has a specific thing that he likes to do. He likes that heightened, it's very Crimson Peak, very much so. And I don't know if I'm an overall fan of all that, because I'm not. My favorite Guillermo del Toro movie is probably still Kronos and Pacific Rim. Yeah. But I love Devil's Backbone, and I love Pan's Labyrinth, and I like too. Those films. His Spanish language movies I really dig. But
I love Shape of Water.
Oh yeah, excellent.
And Shape of Water too. But sometimes his Victorian era stuff, I think he has his own there's the Victorian era, and then there's Guillermo del Toro's Victorian era, and both Crimson Peak and Frankenstein, I think, are of the same. They don't take place in the real world; they take place in Guillermo del Toro's imagination, and I think that's an acquired taste.
Well, I think self-consciousness is the enemy of art.
I like that quote. That quote.
You know who said?
You
Actually,
did.
speaking of Guillermo del Toro, getting a little bit to physical media finally, I've got Pinocchio. It was price reduced in the Black Friday sales. His 4K from Criterion, which comes with this nice little.
Oh, that's great.
So you've got the 4K and the Blu-ray, and yes, Thomas, I saved the sticker with the autogram from Guillermo, and we have a booklet for it. And I think Max mentioned it already. I think he wants to dive a little bit into it, so he probably got it too. From Guillermo, I've got The Nightmare Alley from Criterion, which is actually a 4-disc set, because we have the movie in the 2 versions, in 4K and the extended in black and white, and those on Blu-ray too. And I think you mentioned Nightmare Alley at the
Max
beginning
would like to talk about
show.
Nightmare Alley.
Yeah.
So Max,
Can I give it over?
What, do you want to do it now?
Yeah, why not?
We're here.
Since Dieter brought it up, take it away, Max.
Yep.
Well, I'm a big fan of Nightmare Alley. I mean, I'm a fan of the novel. Let's see. William Lindsay Grisham is one of the great hard-boiled noir novels. The stuff I discovered when I was like in junior high, when I was reading Hammett and Chandler and James M. Cain. And he was one of them. He only wrote a couple of books, but this is a major one. And I loved the Tyrone Power starring film of Nightmare Alley. And I think that Toro and his co-writer Kim Morgan love it too. But when I went to that movie with greatly anticipating seeing this, loving the core material. By the way, there's a graphic novel by Spain Rodriguez, who was one of the Zap Comics mainstays with Robert Crumb and so on. He did a graphic novel of Nightmare Alley, very faithful and is wonderful. It's out of print. Fantagraphics put it out, but it's a great graphic novel. I went to the movie and I went by myself, and I sat and watched it, and I hated it. I really hated it. I was very annoyed with it. I annoyed all the way through. And then the Criterion came out, and I saw that beautiful box, and it's beautiful. It's really great. And I saw that he had done a black and white version. I knew that briefly a black and white version was released to theaters, but mostly it was the color version. Right. And he had a black and white version, and I thought, well, I'm gonna get it. The Criterion sale was on, I'm gonna get it. So much for my being, really persnickety about what I'm gonna buy, but I bought it, and I liked the black and white version a lot better. I like the black and white version a lot better. The art direction played much, much better. The performances, some of the performances that I didn't particularly like, played better. Kate Blanchett, who just came off very arch to me in the color version, seemed fine to me in this one, and I can't exactly explain it. The art direction worked a lot better because the Art Deco thing that they were going for looked appropriate in black and white. And of course, he was trying to do a remake of a great film noir. And the original is a great film noir, directed by what is the guy's name? Well, the director is not a famous director, Edmund Gold. I'm sorry to flub on this, but I do know that the writer of it is Jules Furthman of the original. Now, that's a major Hollywood guy. That's Howard Hawks' go-to screenwriter. I mean, he wrote everything from, The Big Sleep, To Have and Have Not, Only Angels Have Wings, and even up to Rio Bravo. So this is a great screenwriter. And Toro and Morgan are doing their own screenplay here. The cast, it's unfair, I suppose, to compare the cast of the original to the remake, but Bradley Cooper just is not Tyrone Power. I mean, Tyrone Power is incredible in the original movie, and is very handsome and charismatic, and you understand how a con man like him could get as far as he gets. Bradley Cooper is a bit of a lump in this movie. And people keep saying how handsome he is, but that doesn't make him handsome. It just doesn't. And then you have a lot of good actors like Toni Collette, but it was originally played by Joan Blondell.
Right.
Cate Blanchett. It was Helen Walker isn't super well known, but she's almost, I would say, noir royalty. She was in The Big Combo. She was in one of the funniest noir ever made, Murder, He Says. And she's a fantastic actress, and she's so much better in this than Cate Blanchett. I mean, it's not even a comparison. And Rooney Mara, who's fine in the movie, but originally it was Colleen Gray. I mean, she was in The Killing. She was in, A Kiss of Death. She was in Kansas City Confidential. So there's just no comparison. And so why did they do this? Why did they take something that was, he said after he wrote a sequel to The Maltese Falcon, why did they feel like this, they could add something to this? And the things they add are at odds with what they're trying to accomplish. Because one of the things that they did with the art direction was the circular nature of the story. And it's all about a guy who starts as the lone man on the totem pole in the carnival and goes and comes around and he's back in the carnival at the end, even in a worse position. So the circular, it's full of circles, it's full of eyeballs, it's full of all of these things that are really well done symbols for this particular story. So they got that right. They even probably did a little bit better than the original movie with that. But I think I said this to you, Rob, when we talked about this a little bit. Nightmare Alley, 1947, starring Tyrone Power, is a film noir. Nightmare Alley 2021 is trying to be a film noir, is imitating a film noir, is a fake film noir. So that's my problem. It originally was done in period, it was done in as a contemporary piece. They're doing it as a period piece. And so anyway, I did like it better. I did think the art direction and the look of the film was great. But the things that they did that weren't in the novel, like giving the lead character a backstory where he had killed his father, I don't think that's not an original movie, and I don't remember it from the novel. I haven't read the novel in a while. But there's some things that are added that detract from the original story, what the shape of it was. And I would say that it's overstuffed. It's that circular plot that needs to be quick. Even though, it's one of those movies you watch, the original is a movie that's like 110 minutes, which is not, by today's standards, is short. But, you know, there are a lot of short, they're 70-minute movies, they're 80-minute movies, and it goes like a rocket.
Right.
You're pulled through it. And this thing is, you know, 135 minutes or something. And that's not, it's bad pace. It's bad pace. So anyway, let's see what else I wanted to mention to you. I mean, like I said, it's aspiring to be a film.
It's actually 2.5 hours, Max.
Is it 2.5 hours?
Yeah,
it seemed endless.
Even 10 minutes longer.
Now I'm going to be, I'm going to be kind of an asshole here, okay? But both of these criterions. Now these are both criterions, okay? Nightmare Alley 21, Nightmare Alley 47. Kim Morgan did great. Who's liked this movie well enough to write it, remake it with Toro, and write her own script. She writes a fabulous liner notes. They're great. She knows the movie inside out.
She's also Guillermo's wife.
She should know if anybody knew that it shouldn't be remade. And this one has the liner notes. I don't know who did them. The liner notes are okay, but the person writing the liner notes says that this was Tyrone Power's star-making performance. Now, you have to not know much about Hollywood history. Tyrone Power was one of the biggest stars in the world in 1947. And the only reason that movie got made was because he wanted it to be, and he forced 20th Century Fox into doing it so that he'd do other things for them. So, come on, Criterion. I mean, you're better than that. That's sloppy. That's just sloppy. So, remember
research.
Anyway, I don't not recommend the Criterion. It's a beautiful box. The movie, if it becomes kind of like, if you look at Nightmare Alley, the original movie, I'd have to say both times I saw this movie, the current one, the 21, I then went home and watched the original to make sure I wasn't wrong about my memories. Both times I watched it. And if Del Toro's movie was like a special feature, you know, on the other disc, that'd be okay. Be kind of interesting. But for God's sakes, people, watch the original. It is a masterpiece. So that's all.
I love it. So, first of all, there's a few more super chats I'd like to get to.
Yeah.
We have Des Doyle. Des Doyle, who we got to break.
Oh, the showrunner, Rob. Oh, showrunner.
The showrunner documentary and also the Mad Max fan film. Oh, what a cool movie that is. Des Doyle says, have you seen the new doc, Age of Disclosure? I can't wait to watch this. I have not seen it yet. It's the documentary about, are UAPs, do they really exist? Are we being visited by extraterrestrial or intelligence? He says Bob Lazar was right. You know, Bob Lazar, a frequent guest on Joe Rogan, talking about working at a black site that was part of Area 51 on alien technology. And these people are coming out. I find it really interesting that we've had congressional hearings and now we have people involved in the government saying these things are real and nobody cares, which shows me that they've done a great job making sure that they've made this mundane. Because, this would be one of the most earth-shattering developments in human history if there was proof. And there is proof, apparently. But whatever. So it's just typical.
It's not TikTok worthy, Rob.
You know, yeah, it's they're not owning they're not owning the libs through this, so or the Dems, so nobody cares. Darth Plato says it seems like film is no longer an art form, which I think it's now become a commercial enterprise. Film is a product to be sold. It used to be a collision of the two. But the problem is movies became way too expensive. The cost of making a studio movie, when you're talking, I mean, you make a movie like Sinners. Even Sinners was $90 million.
Yeah.
You know, that was I loved Sinners, but that's a movie that should not have cost $90 million. I mean, you ask yourself, how is it that movies are that expensive? I mean, that's exactly insane. And look, it made its money back. It as a product, it did what it was supposed to do. Yeah. But when you're making movies, if it's not, when you're making movies like that are that expensive, there's nothing you can do. How can new filmmakers break in? It's tough. Only true currency, I hope you mean, is authenticity. Only true currency. I watched Age of Disclosure Friday night, and I had goosebumps the entire time. The sitting Secretary of State and senators saying UFOs and non-human beings are real. Will it get an Oscar nomination? Again, I don't know, but I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it.
Rob, where's that documentary available?
Is it on? I think it's on. Is it on Amazon? Amazon Prime, maybe.
Oh, okay, nice.
Major Chai Chai says, I saw Rental Family last night, and it's a lovely film.
Nice.
8 out of 10.
Nice.
Really want to see that. Adventure Square says, on UFOs, the 1974 documentaries UFOs Past, Present, and Future, it's on YouTube, apparently shows a brief clip of an actual UFO landing at Holloman, and it's at the 1 hour and 18-minute mark. Very interesting. Guillermo del Toro hasn't made a truly great, profound film since El Laberinto del Fauno, or that would be Pan's Labyrinth, or the Faun's Labyrinth. He should go back to making films like The Devil's Backbone and Kronos. Yes, I agree. Alvaro's here. Says, William James said, the greatest use of a life is to spend it on something that will outlast it. This show's impact will ripple on through time. Congrats on 5 years of Let's Get Physical Media, and let's fucking go on the next 5. I was going to bring Alvaro on this show, but I just figured keep it tight. So much for doing a short show.
Yeah.
So why don't we show some discs, man? I got a lot of discs.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I want to start out first by saying that Super Deluxe Edition, my favorite Dolby Atmos remastering, Bob Clearmountain's company, following with, they got some 80s bangers. Tears for Fears' second album, songs from the Big Chair.
Go full frame, Rob. Go full frame.
What's that?
Nice. Go full frame.
Oh, I will go. Yes,
yourself.
I love that. Or
On
directing yourself. Me. I love that. So Super Deluxe Edition of songs from the Big Chair. They add their special O-rings. I love this. What is this, Dieter? It's shiny.
Oh, shiny. Correct, bro. Correct.
Okay. Here's the cover.
I was thinking about the O-ring, a different term for O-ring.
Oh, well, I thought you were I was thinking shiny. It's shiny. Yes, it's shiny.
Definitely shiny.
They did not send me. This is a special deluxe. This is a Super Deluxe Edition, release 52 and 51 from the great Trevor Horn's ZTT, Propaganda's album A Secret Wish, and of course, here's the disc. And then they add these special. They send these to you separately. I mean, they come in the same box, but they don't come together. You have to put them on. I love A Secret Wish. I love Trevor Horn in the 80s. But their 50th release is Frankie Goes to Hollywood's Welcome to the Pleasure Dome, and that has not come out yet. I don't know why. I can't wait to get it. It's probably my favorite record of the 80s, maybe. There's a lot. Tino Lorber.
Which actually, Rob, is a pretty nice idea to send the O-ring separately, because normally, you know, the corners are always a little bit damaged.
Yeah, and they keep it, and you have to unfold it and stuff. It's, they're thinking. Then I got a stack of DVDs of both documentaries and interesting things. Love Brooklyn, which I don't really know much about, but it's a feature from Daughter Films. Love Brooklyn. Chantal, an offbeat crime series an offbeat feminist crime series. It's a man's world, and then came Chantal. They're always sending me these.
Great series, by the way.
It's a great series.
Great series.
Great series. You heard it from the Mystery Writers of America Grandmaster Max Allan Collins. 300 Letters, a film by Lucas Santa Anna. One guess as to what this movie's about. But they do, Kino Lorber does support queer cinema, and I'm all about that. Soul of a Nation. This is an inspiring, eye-opening journey into Israel's most turbulent chapter. So that'll probably be interesting. And then Bullets and Blueberries, The Hidden Holocaust. The Holocaust began with the indiscriminate mass shootings by the Einsatzgruppen. I can't pronounce that word. Einsatzgruppen. Dieter?
Oh, Einsatztruppen.
Yeah, in the bloodlands of Eastern Europe, and was perfected in the gas chambers of Auschwitz. Bullets and Blueberries explores the motives, methods, and madness of the perpetrators using never-before-seen images captured by the killers themselves. Images that fully capture the banality of evil. Ooh, this is right up my alley.
Not a coffee and cake topic.
That is not a coffee and cake movie. Then I would like to go to...
Yeah.
I'm looking for... Wait, there's so much here.
Yeah.
I have so much. Let me just rifle through some of these. I've got so much stuff here. It's insane. So here is a stack of Blu-rays that Kino Lorber. I'll do a rapid fire Kino Lorber. Actually, first of all, let me start with Warner Archive. Warner Archive sent me more box sets. The James Cagney collection. 4 movies. This, by the way, is great. Angels with Dirty Faces, The Public Enemy, White Heat, and Yankee Doodle Dandy. This is classic Cagney. James, I like those guys. James Cagney. That's what Al Pacino said in Scarface. Then we have the Gene Kelly collection, Singing in the Rain, An American in Paris, The Pirate, and For Me and My Gal. Come on, Warner Archive. Could these get any better? The answer is no. So getting these is a great... This is the Doris Day collection. Love Me or Leave Me, Jumbo, Romance on the High Seas, and Lullaby of Broadway. So this is 12 classic films in 3 boxes. What... by Grapthar's Hammer, what a savings. I mean, oh my God. Come on.
What a savings.
That's
awesome.
That's great stuff. And then we're going to get to these Blu-rays. I mean, Kino just keeps them coming. Gosh, I'll rip through these pretty quickly. Hang on. Because there's one in particular. No Wave, the underground films of Beth B. and Scott B. Beth B., these are from New York, underground New York filmmakers. Yeah. Then we have the directors of King Kong, Marion C. Cooper and Ernest B. Shospak, Grass and Chang, whatever these are, probably silent films. Riefenstahl. This is the documentary I showed before on Blu-ray. It's on DVD. It's on Blu-ray.
Yeah. Correct pronunciation, Rob.
Riefenstahl. You taught me well. Death Wish 2, Bronson's Loose Again. Not the 4K, though. And then the Gracie Allen murder case, directed by Alfred Green. Got that. And then we move on to the O-ring discs. The Barbarian Brothers. There you go, people. The Barbarian Brothers. And, they're warriors, they're conquerors, and they are heroes. And, of course, Ruggero Deodato directed this. The famous Italian director who made one of our favorite cannibal movies. This is a 2-disc special edition of I'm George Lucas, the Connor Ratliff story, with a record-breaking number of special features. I've not seen this movie. I've only heard about it, but now I have it. Thank you, Kino Lorber. And then, not to be outdone, Kino Cult label number 40, Frightmare. And this is loads of fun. It's a Pete Walker movie. Throughout his career, director Pete Walker, House of Whipcord, was no stranger to controversy, but his 1974 film Frightmare sparked a firestorm of criticism from the protectors of public morals, who deemed this film despicable, horrendous, and a moral obscenity. In spite of the condemnation, or more likely because of it, Frightmare has achieved an almost legendary status in British horror history. Sheila Keith stars as a former patient of a mental institution who settled down at a remote farmhouse where she tells fortunes in her spare time, but the kind maternal exterior conceals a dreadful monster, which the asylum, it seems, was unable to cure. Frightmare. Let me open this up and see if it has an alternative cover.
Yeah.
Shall I? And I will stop there, Dietz, before I move on, because there's so many more things to show. But let's see if Frightmare has a reversible cover. Sometimes Kino cult titles do. This one does not. But that's okay, because, hey, that's good enough. So there you go, Frightmare. So that's the first bunch of discs. And I'm not even done with Kino Lorber yet. So what about you guys? Dietz, do you have more to show?
Max, if you want to go.
No, I don't. I'm just taking the ride.
Taking the ride, but you're going to talk about Hard Boiled, right?
We can talk about Hard Boiled. You want to do that just briefly?
Yeah, why not? Because
I can talk about Hard Boiled briefly because my package lost and I will not get my Hard Boiled.
Really?
That's why
We'll just
I got a mail from Amazon, can't be delivered. I don't know why. I will not get my Hard Boiled 4K, and it's sold out. Obviously, go Max.
We'll get it from.
I take something new to drink for me.
Well, I did talk to Rob about this a little bit, and this is a great movie, but it's my least favorite of his great movies.
How
Any sense?
dare you?
It's a masterpiece.
I personally prefer Better Tomorrow, The Killer, and Bullet in the Head because I think the stories are very good, in addition to the action being good. This time, and this is not a criticism really. It's just basically wall-to-wall action with just negligible story. And if you read up about it a little bit, they didn't have a script. They did the first scene. That scene in the tea house, they didn't even know what he's going to. I mean, so there's a ragtag nature to the construction of the movie. On some level, I think it was like his tryout to show Hollywood what the hell he could do with an action scene. And the action scenes are just amazing.
They're off the chain, dude. Off the fucking chain.
Yeah, they're crazy. It's crazy good, and it's incredibly entertaining. But I think there's this aspect of this was kind of an attempt to do a pretty hairy kind of crime movie, where Chow Yun-fat is just the unstoppable rogue cop who's gonna. But the other ones. Yeah, The Killer or Better Tomorrow. There's that Douglas Sirk movie aspect to it, that almost a soap opera aspect to it. That's very Hollywood.
What about my man Tony Leung, who's undercover in Hard Boiled, and he's having to participate in these terrible acts, and he doesn't know how to get out, and Chow Yun-fat's got to liberate him and get him out of there. And it's, the police captain can't say anything to Chow Yun-fat about who's undercover and what's going on. Don't you feel the pathos, the emotion?
Okay, I've been wrong before. And I'll be wrong again.
And by the way, this movie, Hard Boiled, has a banger soundtrack.
Oh, yeah, jazz soundtrack. And Wu himself has got this weird little part in it. Comes in and out.
Yeah. He plays the bar owner.
Yeah.
That Chow Yun-fat plays saxophone at.
But everything that isn't an action scene is a little bit of a mess in this movie.
How dare you? How dare you?
How dare you?
There's nothing wrong with this movie.
Deceiving for a week.
By the way, I just want to say the first time I saw this movie, the very first time I saw it in the theater, I saw it at the New Art Cinema and on the way to Santa Monica in West LA, and John Woo was there.
Great.
Just saying.
Well, most of his movies on, and I think you talked about this a little bit. I don't know whether it was on the air or not, but on VHS, just grainy, awful. You to Chinatown in a big city to buy them, or someone would sell them to you as bootlegs through the mail. And my son and I used to see this back in the late 80s, mid to late 80s. We were looking at these movies, and they're the most amazing things we've ever seen. One that doesn't get talked about much, that was very influential, which was kind of his take on Club, which I had never seen before. So, there was a lot.
Max,
that
I'm sorry, your sound suddenly started to peak. Could you just kick down the volume a little bit?
I'll kick down my own volume a little bit. But that may be the problem. But there was there's always been a lot of talk about Road to Perdition being like a ripoff of of Lone Wolf and Cub, and I was always out front about that it was an influence.
Yeah.
But John Woo, with Heroes Shed No Tears and these other movies, was big an influence on Road to Perdition, and when I used to be interviewed about Road to Perdition, when we were out kind of promoting it, there were a lot of critics who were saying, well, this is The Godfather. This is a movie like The Godfather. And I would say, yeah, well, the graphic novel is John Woo. I mean,
right.
he's going, when Michael O'Sullivan goes down the banister shooting guns, that's is in the and it isn't in the movie. They actually took the John Woo stuff out of my story, and and so I have a real connection to all of his movies, including Hard Boiled. I just think he's an amazing filmmaker.
No, he is, and even afterwards when he made the what was it, Red Cliff, the two Red Cliff movies, and then and I have to tell you, of that era, the last movie, because I couldn't get it, when I saw Bull in the Head, my jaw hit the floor.
Yeah,
that's like his. It's not really, but I think of it as his Deer Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that, and to get all these, it's interesting to see, because I know that again you'll be able to get these films: Golden Princess, The Library. You've got Shout Factory in America, Arrow in the United States, and then you've got. I think Arrow's going to repress it. I think they didn't anticipate the level, because with the Golden Princess Library, like Peking Opera Blues is one of the movies that was most cited, and that was Sweetheart's Peking Opera Blues was like at the beginning of that whole Hong Kong, and that was they were putting that out in City on Fire, but it's Hard Boiled and The Killer and Probably a Better Tomorrow and Bull in the Head. Those are really the cornerstones of what people wanted that they haven't been able to get. And you had that guy Hong Kong Rescue who was doing these painstaking restorations, and I would order discs from him and get them like 2 years later. I actually got my Hard Boiled and
at least you got them, Rob. At least you got them.
Yeah, and it was I never understood like I never understood why somebody who made himself visible to film fans and took everyone's money. I mean, I even got a copy of Pink Floyd The Wall from him on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then he's just didn't deliver. And I thought that he'd made a deal. He was working on Bullet in the Head for the longest time, and that never reached fruition. So to get these, it's
well, that's one of the things about this edition of Hard Boiled, that you are saying this in a way you've never seen John Woo movies before.
Yeah,
it's just incredible.
Yeah, I can't wait.
That's what I. I probably need to wait now for the Arrow release. No.
So, Dieter, why don't you go ahead, show some stuff?
Okay. At first, I got a package from a dear friend of mine from Muscatine, Iowa, which he was not obligated
When
to
did
do
you
so.
ever think in your life you would get a package from Iowa?
I don't know, Rob. It could be from the mayor, but it was not the ex-mayor. It was from Max Allan Collins. And I wanted Max to... I said, Max, sign the stuff. And at cursory glance, I only thought Max did only sign one of the titles that he sent me, the cursory glance. But Max turned me into a private eye, because then I get deeper into the titles, and I found out, no, he did sign every title, actually. So the first one, he has it already in the background, his Ebenezer Scrooge version. He did send me Blue Christmas, his latest movie. And help me, Max, this was the $8,000 movie that you told me about.
It may have been as much as 10.
Oh, 10. So I looked at it in the inside, and here I saw his signature, but it almost looks like it is tied to the inside, which tells you about the movie. But I then dug a little deeper, as the private eye that I am, and I saw, no, it's actually not, because he wrote on the side, Frohe Festtage, in German, Happy Holidays. So Max, thank you for that. So Blue Christmas. Then, since Max is on our show, one name always comes up, and I'm always, what is he talking about? What did Mickey Spillane? And he did send me his documentary about him. So finally, I know a little bit more about him. And I don't know if it was, I think it was on Blue Christmas. Actually, the documentary about Max himself, I totally enjoyed, about his life, which did get me a little bit more into it. So I opened it up, and it says, regards to Dieter, from Deceiving at the top. Thank you for that. And Max, totally nice one. So I know a little bit more about one of your favorite authors. And you kept it short, an hour. And I thought, okay, an hour, I can do that. This one he did send me. Then the next two, Max, I didn't get around to, but I will, because you, as one of the only one, watch Bang Boom Bang. So I need to watch this, and then I will get back to you. He did send me his Elliot Ness, which is on the top, from the maker of Road to Perdition. And of course, I had to look it up. And then in the inside says, to my buddy Dieter, Max Allan Collins, 24. So thank you for that. And this was the movies that Max told me are perhaps the most expensive that he did, considering direct to video, his Mummy trilogy. And this was the one that I thought were the only one that Max signed, because he signed it on the outside here, is his Mummy movies. And I will get back to you, Max, about those movies. So I only have seen Blue Christmas and the Mickey Spillane stuff, but thank you for that. But not only do I have Max signatures, no, I have Barbara's too, on the slip of the business stuff. So I will keep that to myself too. I have Barbara's signature too, not only Max's. So this was, thank you, Max, for the stuff from Muscatine, Iowa. And now the stuff that I got over the last 3 weeks a little bit. I got season 2, Rob, of the Black 7 series from the UK, which comes with the booklet about the individual episodes.
Such a great show.
And of course, I'm really looking forward. Need to start it. And it actually, I think it's actually six or seven discs in this set. The ultimate archive of the classic science fiction series, Blake 7. So this is number 2. So put that aside. Then this one I stumbled across, and I think I wanted to order it, I think from Germany, but I then saw the the UK one from Mubi with Barry Keoghan and Christopher Abbott. It's called Bring Them Down, Cat in the Bag for Me. And Mubi did put in some art cards and booklet too. So really nice. So Bring Them Down, probably a serious drama, but it has very strong language, strong violence, injury detail, and drug misuse. Okay. All the good stuff. And Rob, Scotty is back. No, not Scotty from Star Trek. Scott Adkins is back.
Scott Adkins.
In Prisoner in of War, where he plays a POV. Totally fine one, considering Scott Adkins. Even the verisimilitude is a little bit, not there, considering the prisoners of the Japanese camp, because they're all very muscly, they're really fed well from the Japanese. And one has tattoos at 9042, those complex tribal tattoos. I don't know if verisimilitude holds up in Prisoner of War. But considering the movie, really fine one in Scott's filmography. Considering Criterion, I already showed the two Guillermo stuff. Because one movie I forgot to mention that I saw, Rob, the masterpiece will probably next year will get some of the Oscars. I've finally seen one battle after another from Paul Thomas Anderson. Thoroughly enjoyed it because it actually has everything. It has humor, it has action, it has thrilling. The only thing, considering how the story unfolds, you could guess about that little, I would not even call it a twist, but you could see it perhaps a little bit coming, where it will go at one point. Rob, have you seen it?
Yep, I finally saw it.
Okay, and for me, Rob, the funniest thing, and I'm actually happy that I didn't see it in theaters, because I would probably shout it out loud, like in The Office, parkour, when they jumped across the roofs, and then Leonardo fall down, and I wait, what? He fell off the roof. It was so funny.
I have to say this to disappoint Thomas Logan. I did not see this movie in VistaVision, and I did not see it in IMAX. However, they are re-releasing it in IMAX at the Irvine Spectrum. I think Thomas informed me of this, because he must keep up with all the IMAX theaters around the world.
Totally.
At the Irvine Spectrum. And my friend Alvaro, who I've been delightfully going to see movies with at the Irvine Spectrum, we went and saw Friday the 13th 3 in 3D in auditorium number 13. He says he's not, but I'm gonna drag him to see Avatar. And I gotta go see one battle after another. And so that's what we're going to do. Because I do want to see it. I have to say, I was surprised by that, by the movie. And I...
In a positive way?
No, I liked it. I didn't really know, because I don't know what Alvaro had told me about violent. The movie surprised me. Like, I guess all Paul Thomas Anderson movies do. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And there were things in it, like, I don't know if this is a spoiler alert, but I don't know if it was CG or physical makeup effects on Sean Penn.
Oh, okay. Good question.
Something happens to his face.
Perhaps a combination, Rob.
I found it. I don't know why, because I know, I've been looking at Sean Penn's face since 1982. I found it very disturbing.
It was.
Actually,
it certainly was.
Poor justice for Sean Penn.
For Lockjaw.
Justice for Lockjaw. I love that movie, by the way. One of my favorites of the year.
Yeah.
For a lot of people.
Yeah.
For me, it was just, the hype was so, as always, if the hype is so intense for a movie, you expect it to be completely blown away.
It was really, it was really interesting. There's like a car chase in it. There's a couple car chases, but there's one car chase that happens in I don't want to ruin it for people who haven't seen it, in a very a hilly environment through the desert. Now, what I thought was really cool about that car chase was that I've been on those roads, you know, where you're on a road and you go down and you can't see where the car is in front of you, and you come up, you know, and they're in the distance, and it's kind of a game you play when you're driving. They did something in this movie that I have feared. Like it played on a personal fear that I didn't think that anybody ever would have thought of, you know, and it's something, and I was like, oh my God, like, you know, when somebody like a filmmaker has put something in something that you've been thinking about your whole life that you thought nobody ever thinks about. They did something in this movie, and I was thinking about this thing when I was watching Second Sight's The Hitcher, because The Hitcher has not the same thing, but it reminded me of, I don't know if it's and when they did this thing in one battle after another, I was like, I was actually at our local theater, and I went, oh my God, you know.
Careful if you don't see your head, Rob. Careful if you don't see your head.
As taking off on what Dieter said, that's very interesting to me, because you had gone in feeling you'd had a lot of hype and raising expectations. I haven't liked several of Anderson's last few movies, and my son, because there's a cheap night at the theaters on Tuesday nights in Muscatine, Iowa.
Here too, in Germany too.
You get free popcorn. And he had gone with me to the Conjuring movie.
Yeah,
he said, I'll do the Conjuring movie with you if you go to, you know, the Anderson movie with me, because he loves Anderson's movies. And so I was drug along with incredibly low expectations. I'd seen the previews; it didn't look good to me. And so, isn't that interesting that depending on where you go into the movie, what the expectation level? So I had and I was like, "Oh, this is fucking amazing!" And
I was on the other. That's masterpiece. It will get all the Oscars, you know. And then I thought, liked it, and it's probably a movie that will get better with a second viewing and a third viewing. And Rob, you were on the John Campea show where you discussed about perhaps a little bit the shortcomings of the movie at the box office, where you said a movie has to have bite in the trailer, but One Battle After Another is one of those movies. It's tough to make a trailer specific with a bite for that movie.
But
considering
you know
when you see,
I'll tell you something.
See the whole movie. Yeah.
There was a lot of visuals. There was a lot of visual things in the movie, like some of that car chase stuff that really wasn't in. I mean, they showed you glimpses of it, but there was a lot of visual stuff that they didn't even use as quick pops in the trailer. You know, that made it. I think they should have leaned into more of a, because they were showing you the character of Leonardo DiCaprio. They leaned heavily into Leonardo DiCaprio, Benicio del Toro, and Sean Penn.
And the funny stuff with him.
Yeah, I think they could have leaned into, because I was surprised at how much, we'll call it action, there actually was in the film. I thought it was much more character-based. I thought when going in, and I was surprised that they did things.
Certainly.
Yeah, which was, and the movie's really funny, too. It was funnier than I thought it was going to be. And
but I think that's a movie that is tough, Rob, to make a trailer, you know, with a bite for that movie, a specific.
Yeah, and it's funny.
The audience, you know.
I didn't expect to go see it. It was a last minute decision. I was on the way home from work from Corona, and I went and saw it. So it was, but I want to see it in IMAX again. Yeah, and so,
but considering Paul Thomas Anderson and One Battle After Another, I got his movie Punch Drunk Love from Criterion, because we have, you know, the half-off sale at the moment. So I finally got Punch Drunk Love, 4K Blu-ray, and the booklet. And then, considering my Hardboiled didn't arrive into that package, were two other titles which are not as hardly expected as I was for Hardboiled, and those titles I could order again, you know. So I ordered again The Breakfast Club from Criterion.
Is that the 4K?
4K. So really nice. always booklet in here. So this one I could get again, but hard-boiled, not at the moment for me. Perhaps the package will arrive later. Who knows? Then in the Criterion sale itself, I got Spinal Tap, the nice Digipack from Criterion with booklet and 3 discs, which look really, really nice. Like a little bit off the amps. So, Spinal Tap, the Criterion. Then Rob was great to give us a little bit more information, because I was a little bit hesitant considering the cover artwork itself. But Rob did dive a little bit into it, why it looks the way it looks. I've got Outland from Arrow, the 4K for it, but I haven't seen it yet.
I didn't show that, but and
the card only shows 3 extremes, which are already shown. Poster and booklet comes with it.
Yeah.
So it was nice for Rob to dive a little bit more into.
I did get both of these. Artwork. I had the 3 extremes. I had a box set.
Extremes.
I had a foreign box set. I had a Hong Kong box set on DVD. But it was great because I love these movies, especially if you're a horror fan. You got to have dumplings. You have to have dumplings. If you don't have dumplings, you're not a horror fan. So this thing's a hoot. But the thing about the Outland, I did a whole bit about the controversy about this cover, and of course, Arrow always. You've got the original key art on Jupiter's Moon. He's the only law. But
the other one on the other side, Rob, you could actually have 2 cover variations on the emerald.
There's different artwork, but this artwork they commissioned. I mean, I want to go full frame on this because I want to talk about it, because people still. When I saw this at first, it was the colors that were sort of off-putting, and then then I looked at it for about a second, and I went, I get this, because you've got. I'm looking at this, and you've got the splatter around here, so the head is exploded. Yeah. And this is actually, this logo is the Con Amalgamate logo of the company that's in the movie. So he's like falling into the logo in the astronaut suit. I thought this was when I realized what this was, I thought this was so clever. And also, the great comic artist Jim Steranko adapted Outland for Heavy Metal Magazine. So this is kind of a combination of all of those things. Sorry, I don't know, my things paused for a second. And then when I looked at this, I'm like, that is a really clever. The guy who did this artwork really put some thought into it. And I know it's not the colors you would normally associate with Outland, because you're on Jupiter's Moon and you're on the Con Amalgamate 27 mining platform. But looking at this, I like the fact that Arrow thinks outside the box for these O-rings and the art that they commission for these releases, because they give you the original key art, so you've got that.
Yeah.
And I do love, I mean, it's almost like, how are they, to me, I'm a big fan of like Polish and like Eastern European movie posters, and Polish posters have nothing to do with the artwork of the movie, and sometimes they have very little to do with the movies themselves, except in an artistic way. And I always like that, because you can always get the American posters or whatever, and that's fine. But I really do like that you have these artists that really think about what these movies mean in the grander sense and incorporate them into the artwork. I think it's cool. Anyway.
Yep, nice.
Great disc. So that was something I picked up too. So go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I figured since we...
No problem, Rob. No problem. Because it was nice to get a little bit more information about the cover artwork, which looked at first, what the hell is this? Then in probably, was a Schnäppchen, I think. From Sofia Coppola, the Virgin Suicides, I got 4K and Blu-ray from the...
Story of My Early Girlfriend.
Okay. Yeah. Then the next one, when you ask me, Rob, how do I come up with the titles? How do I buy it? This was actually pretty pretty strange. In my YouTube feed, I stumbled across, I think, a documentary or making of the movie. I haven't watched it yet. It is in my watch later list. And then I looked up the movie and I saw, hey, this is out in Germany. I bought it, but I haven't seen it. Can the backdrop? It's called Bloodstar. Just.
Wow.
So, cat in the back. Looks nice. And there's a 20-minute making of on YouTube. Then let me just see where we go from here. Since I'm a fan of Hannah John Kamen, for me, one of the greatest eyes that I know, it's called Safe House. So, cat in the bag, a little bit, hopefully, action movie, but it's actually Blu-ray and 4K. Hopefully, short and sweet. Then, Rob, you already showed this from William Friedkin. I got Rampage.
Yeah.
From Kino Lorber. Which comes, I think, with the two versions of it. Then, how could I pass this up on a little bit smaller sale? You mentioned Severin as one of our boutiques labels. Slave to the Cannibal God was La Andres.
Yeah, I mean, you
And
can't
I love
not have that.
the cover.
No.
the cover artworks on the discs itself are awesome. So this was price reduced. Another price reduction that I got from Scream Shout Factory, because I'm a fan of Melissa George, and this was at the time where Ryan Reynolds was not always chokey, the remake of the Amityville horror.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't get an O-ring, so perhaps I was a little bit too late on the party, or it never had one. So the 4K, and I'm a fan of Melissa George, so Amityville Horror was price reduced. Then, speaking of Last Samurai Standing, Rob, can't wait to hear what you say when you finished it. I've got from Eureka Shogun's Samurai.
Oh, nice.
Which has different cover artwork beneath, which is always awesome. Comes with a poster, or no? It's a booklet. So Shogun's Samurai. Then, speaking of our favorite subject, shark movies, but I actually think I don't have seen this movie, even if it's always comes up. Open Water as a media book.
That's a great movie. You're gonna like that.
And this is the only one that always passed me by. So this is a media book. It's not 4K, but it's a nice media book. Limited edition of 333, and I got number 26, Open Water. Then, speaking of movies that I already own, but I purchased it again because of cover artwork, and I love this, Rob, one of our favorites from last year, When Evil Lurks. And I love
that's a great cover for that movie. Wow. What is that? Yeah. Is that German?
Yeah, this is German media book. But there were different media books, one with 4K and Blu-ray. This is just a Blu-ray and DVD, but I just love the cover artwork for the movie. And inside, we all remember that one. We have some drawings, even some storyboards for it, and actually a 3-disc set. I think one is for special features, and we have, I think, the known cover variations for the movie are in here too. So I couldn't pass up on that cover artwork, even though we have our second side edition. So Rob, I have still a few more to go, but I give it over to you.
We'll just rifle through these. Kino Lorber dropped that big box, Max, and in that big box, I think were more 4Ks than ever. Now, I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth, and I got to say, I got the individual airport discs, and I did get, of course, this box set that I showed earlier. I love this box set. But Kino Lorber did send me singles of things that I would imagine they're doing box sets. I know one of them is going to be a box set. They sent me all 4 Abbott and Costello Meet
Oh, yeah.
Universal Monsters. These
Oh, yeah.
are in 4K. So if you've got the 4K Universal Monsters, you have Abbott and Costello. I went backwards, but Abbott and Costello meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. That also, this is probably the best one, but it also has
Yes.
Dracula, the Wolfman, and Glenn Strange is the monster in it. This is my favorite. And then you have Abbott and Costello meet the Invisible Man. And then Abbott and Costello meet the Mummy. And you know who's in this movie? Michael Anzara, who played Kang, the Klingon, in the 3rd season of Star Trek in Day of the Dove. And he also starred as John Singing Rock in the adaptation of Graham Masterton's wonderful novel, The Manitou, directed by William Girdler. He plays John Singing Rock, the Indian medicine man who hopes to save the world from the evil Misquamacus. So, hey. And another series that they had released before, Kino had released before, but now put them on 4K, that everybody needs. Because everybody knows one of my laws, one of the Burnett axioms, is there is nothing that cannot be made better with the proper application of ninjas.
Ninjas.
And in 4K, ladies and gentlemen, 4K, Sho Kazuki. I mean, come on, Franco Nero, Susan George, and Sho Kazuki. Enter the Ninja. Revenge of the Ninja. And
hopefully Ninja 3, Rob. Domination.
The long-celebrated Ninja 3, The Domination, which is one of the great films of all time. Now, I would imagine these are coming out, these are all coming out in a box set, too, I believe.
Ooh.
So these are going to go to Alvaro. He's going to get these 4K Ninja movies. Not that he'll want them, but he's going to get them along with the airport movies. So, you know, he's the ultimate killer, and this movie, everybody should own Ninja 3, The Domination.
Yeah.
Everybody.
And help me, Rob, I think that it came out previously through Shout as a collector's edition, but the 4K is now from Kino Lorber.
Yeah, the 4K is from Kino Lorber. So you go, Kino Lorber. Then, of course, the movie Paul with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Fugitive, Celebrity,
nice.
Slacker, Joker, Alien in 4K. Paul. People like Paul. I like Paul. It's all right. It's a fun movie. Paul. Then, of course, not to be outdone, you loved her in She-Wolf of the SS. Ilsa's back. And Harem Keeper of the Oil Sheiks.
Ooh.
The second Ilsa movie in 4K, also with the reversible cover. Kino Cult
Awesome.
number 41. I wonder if they're going to put the Ilsa movies out in a box set, too. Because between Warner Archive and Kino putting stuff out together, bundling it up, hey, what's not to love? But hey, this movie doesn't reach the great heights of She-Wolf of the SS, but it's still very fun. Now, let me make sure, last but not least, I have one last title. Going to go full frame for this one.
Okay. Yeah.
Lionsgate Limited, ladies and gentlemen. Lionsgate Limited delivers one of the greatest horror films of the 21st century. The great Neil Marshall directed this. But before I show you that, I forgot to show Kino Lorber also put out a very respectable movie, Howard's End, in 4K. Love this film. This also came out. I forgot it came out. But you know what? It feels pretty heavy. I don't know if... I'm sure it... Oh, this is part of their... I didn't realize this. This is part of Cohen Films, you know, their foreign film division.
Ooh, okay.
Merchant Ivory, but there's there's 3 discs in here.
Oh,
so
that explains the weight.
The 4K disc, the Blu-ray disc, and special features. So you go. There is not a... that's good. I love Howard's End. Great film. I'm a Merchant Ivory fan, so that came out. But what I was saying is, one of the great horror films of the 21st century.
Yeah.
In 4K,
Okay.
The Descent. And, you know, you got to love Lionsgate Limited. You got the Lionsgate Limited logo right here. I love what they're doing with their design work. So this is a steelbook. And what's really cool about this steelbook, I just love this. Look at this. So here's Here's the ladies stuck in the cave.
Yeah.
But look what happens when you turn it upside down.
Holy moly.
Yeah, come on, dude.
Holy moly.
Right?
Fantastic.
Right? And then artwork on the back.
I wasn't even aware of that, Rob.
Dude, when I looked, it's funny because when I looked at it, I went, wait a minute. You know, there are the ladies. You turn it upside down. This is officer thinking. And then, of course, the great slipcase. I love Lionsgate Limited. You know, they don't want me writing any more articles for them because nobody was reading my articles because you can't find them. But I did write a piece on The Descent and American Psycho, which they didn't use, which kind of bummed me out. But still, Lionsgate Limited, in my mind, is killing it. So what's not to love? The Descent in 4K.
Awesome.
And that massive haul that I have, that ends my haul for the last 3 weeks.
Okay. I think, Rob, we should go through the super chats before I show the rest of mine.
All right,
It came in.
sir. A fine idea that is. Let's see what people have to say.
Where did we end?
No, I know where we
On
ended.
the
It says, Tom Jr. Jackson says, happy 5 years, guys. Dieter, my lady is intrigued by your voice, and I'm not happy with
Holy
this. I'm not happy with this, he says. Max, I can't wait to read your Maltese Falcon sequel. Well, you know, that would mean, I think he's talking about, of course, Return of the Maltese Falcon, which you can get right now. You can pre-order it at Amazon, coming out in multiple formats from Hardcase Crime. I prefer the hardcover. You go get it. A true labor of love, coming out in January of 2026. Make it a stocking stuffer and say, give people an IOU and put it in their stocking, but order it first. Anyway, so then we have Richard Curtis says, have you seen the deleted scene from Natural Born Killers with the Barbarian Brothers? It's a good one. I saw it a long time ago because I've got that great Natural Born Killers box set from Pioneer, but I don't remember it. I watched it so long ago. I'd have to go back and look at it. Richard Curtis has been a member of the channel for 10 months. Well, thank you for that.
Nice.
And the Cali Kid becomes a new member of the channel. By the way, we had a 5.5 hour member stream yesterday.
Holy moly.
5.5 hours. And it was epic. And I have to say, Modesty Maltese and I had a conversation about The Godfather, and I learned things about The Godfather. Yeah. We had a conversation, and she changed my mind on a few things. It's her favorite movie, too. So really interesting conversation. So thanks for everybody who stopped by. Richard Curtis also gifted 5 Burnettwork memberships. And thank you for that. And you're all invited to the member chats. They're a lot of fun. We don't bite. There's some people that just don't want to participate. They don't want to, and I understand that. People are bashful, but there are people that come into the member chat and we just shoot the shit. And it's great. The Cali Kid says, this might be one for Max. What are your thoughts on Thomas Pynchon, the author, who wrote Vineland, that One Battle After Another is loosely based on? Do you have any thoughts?
I do know that he's kind of a secret. I mean, he's reclusive, I believe. And I have not read him. I tried to read the first book he did that was very long and was kind of lumped in with the black humorists of the era, and black lowercase b.
Are you talking Gravity's Rainbow?
I think so, yeah. I would like to read the book that...
But, dude, Gravity... Come on. First of all, Gravity's Rainbow, dude, is about rockets. German rockets.
Okay.
Nazi rockets. V2 rockets. You got to read that book. Come on, man.
Okay, I'll read it.
You should read it. I read that book a long time ago because it was about rockets. That's the only book of his I've read.
I have absolutely nothing smart to say here, but I will definitely promise to read this book.
Dude, Nazi rockets. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. Dieter, you should read Gravity's Rainbow.
Okay.
I mean, it's not just about rockets are not the main characters. It's not about anthropomorphized rockets, but it's about how these rockets came to be and who made them and why. So anyway, so that's, I don't know how illuminating that was, the Cali kid, but
Not good at all.
I think I read that book. That's one of those books when you're younger, when I was younger, because I was president of our rocketry club in the 6th grade. And I actually built a flying model V2 rocket. I think it was part of the Maxi Brute line that Estes made. I had an Honest John, and I want to say there was a V2. Yeah. And of course, Gravity's Rainbow, it's one of those things you think it's a science fiction book and you pull it out of the at the bookstore. But it's not really a science fiction book, but you think it is. I was that kind of kid. I'm like, is this science fiction? Because it had the word gravity in it. Like gravity and rainbow. You put gravity and rainbow together and you think sci-fi. I don't know why, but you just do. So there you go. We are caught up on the Super Chats. So DIETS.
Okay. And I think Max mentioned he wanted to read the novel, that One Battle After Another.
Yes.
The author is
that novel's called Vineland.
Yeah, okay. So the rest of my horror, considering you showed Ninja 3, one of those so bad it's good movie, I have one too. It's called, with Marie Lee, Cleopatra Wong. And it was nice to have some bonus features in it because she only did 2 or 3 movies and then actually got out of the business. And this is one of those so bad it's awesome movies. From the Philippines and shot there. Totally had a blast. And it says here up Bahnhofskino, train cinema. For me, that is a term who speaks for movies that are, at that level. Probably the movie role has played over and over again with a lot of dropouts now, So the picture quality was not the best. I would really love if Vinegar Syndrome would get on it. This one I would totally buy again with a nice 4K transfer. So Cleopatra Wong, Bahnhofskino. And we stay in the Philippines because I have 2 other movies that were made there. The first one, Media Book. The movie is called Topak, which I thought it is an action movie, but I have had a problem with the movie, not in itself, but with the disc itself, because the original track was wrong, because the dialogue was all on the right channel. So I contacted the firm. I hope there will be an exchange for it. I was hoping it would kind of reaching the rate or some sort of that kind of level. Unfortunately not. It's pretty more low budget affair. But it didn't get an 18 certificate because of the violence in it, So Media Book, this is a 4K and a Blu-ray. And from the Philippines too, a movie that was better than Topak because it has strangely a calming atmosphere to it, even if it's a survival thriller. It's called Arisaka, which I thoroughly enjoyed this one, actually. But this is not a 4K. And I didn't know what Arisaka meant because I thought this is the name of the girl on the front, but it's actually a Japanese rifle, which plays a part in the movie, which you can see here. So this is not actually our protagonist's name. And I thoroughly actually enjoyed this way more than I enjoyed Topak. Those 2 were from Nameless. In the price-reduced stuff, and I saw, think on a Blu-ray, a trailer for it. I bought, considering we always talk about feed here, but I bought It Feeds, supernatural horror. I think it's Sean Ashmore. Yeah, Sean Ashmore and Ashley Green. but it's just a Blu-ray and DVD and the media book part. So this was price reduced. So it's a cat in the bag. Hopefully, a good one. The next one, I already know that I need to do an exchange for it, considering there's something with the discs and even the media book part is missing a page. What can you do, Rob? But I will still have a look at it. I got Jamie Lee Curtis, Prom Night. This is actually a 4K, but something went wrong. So much for your quality control here, Rob. But this is a 3-disc set. But I have to send the whole thing back, or they have pictures where you can see I destroyed the discs, Rob, to get new ones. So from that. And then the last one, Rob, I haven't seen it yet, Cat in the Bag, because people always ask us, Rob, in the sieving, what is going on there? What are we doing in the sievings? And the answer
I
is
frequently
easy.
don't know.
The sieving is all about cannibal mukbang. So, Cat in the Bag for me, Rob, but really looking.
I
both
can't
it is a new
believe
movie,
that's
it's
a
not-
real movie.
That is a real movie, Rob. That is happening in the sieving. Cannibal mukbang. Save this for
Wow.
last. This is
And I have
this is
to
a new movie.
I have to
It's
mention
a new movie.
true
It's not
story.
an old. It's not an old video nasty.
Wait a minute. I have to say, could this be the new African Kung Fu Nazis?
I have no idea.
Cannibal
I have no idea.
mukbang?
Cannibal mukbang. The laurels, played on some festivals.
Does this come from,
Cat in the
is this
Bag,
an
Rob.
Asian
Cannibal
film? Is this like a Korean movie?
No, Rob. No, Rob. It's not. It's not. It's an American movie, I believe.
It's a documentary about Saturday night at the Sea Wing.
Wing.
Correct.
You
Cannibal
know,
mukbang. There you
I
go.
think that people should start hosting cannibal mukbangs.
Yeah.
And of course, you
sorry for
can't,
the monitoring again, Rob.
you
That's
can't have a
frightening.
good, you can't have a good
That's
mukbang
frightening,
without
man.
broadcasting it on live on the internet.
This was my last one.
By the way, dude, I got to ask you a question because now I'm obsessed with thinking about Gravity's Rainbow. So there is I don't remember because I read this book so long ago. There is a device. Now I got to find it. Hang on, I want to. There's this. It's hard to explain because the book is it's a weird book. It's not a historical account. I mean, it is got a historical account of making V2 rockets, but there is fantastical elements to it, and it's satire. It's a crazy effing book. But I want to. There's a thing in it. There's a German. Hang on, I got to find it. I want to know how to pronounce this word because it's a German word. German words are always words like Euchen, Groppen, Skroppen, fucking whatever I just said. You know how I can never.
This is the only human being that I will allow to call Saarbrücken sauerkrauten. But he's the only one.
Hey, I get you. I learned how to say that right.
Yeah, correct.
Hang on. There's a German name. There's a device. There's a thing. There's like a thing. Hang on. I got to look at this up. I got to find it. Okay, so Gravity's Rainbow. By the way, as I'm looking here, it is considered a science fiction novel. So maybe I wasn't. It was up for a Nebula Award. Okay, here's the thing. It's called a Schwarzgerät. A black device. How do you say black device? How do you say Schwarzgerät?
Schwarzgerät.
It's one word. It's SCHWARZGERAT. And the English translation is black device.
Yeah, okay. Schwarzgerät. Schwarzgerät.
That's what it is. Schwarzgerät. That's what. Okay. How do you say that?
Schwarzgerät. Whatever that is, Rob. I have no idea.
Well, you got to read Gravity's Rainbow to find out.
And
40 years I wondered how to pronounce that.
Yeah. And Major Chacha in the live chat says, I heard Gravity's Rainbow is one of the most difficult books to read.
It is insane to read, and it was when I was reading another book called Dahlgren by a guy named Samuel R. Delaney. Yeah. I got. They're kind of, I don't know if they're the same kind of, but it was like more of like a challenge. It was like, can you read these books? Dahlgren was a challenge. This was less so, but they're both.
Didn't he write V? Isn't that the first book he did?
Thomas Pynchon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that I remember trying to read that when I was in college and just saying,
Between Dahlgren and this is like 1,500 pages of difficulty.
Just make the German words sauerkraut, as Max would say.
But yeah, they're tough. They're tough. So we're done, right? Where do we go next? Do you have to do a live chat?
I think so, Rob. It's tradition, isn't it? Tradition.
I mean,
Rob?
come on. We're past hour 3, so why not?
Yeah. That's why we didn't do it last week, Rob, because I said I had early shift, and we know that our last.
There's no news this week. We're banishing the news. There's not that much. It's all old news. The Criterion.
It's a little bit different this evening. Okay. Yeah. Previously, 3 weeks ago. Hope I don't miss any context. On Let's Get Physical Media. Adventure Square. One day, YouTube will be 100% AI, and so will we. Probably right about that. Stubble McShave. So Dieter is super soft. Yeah, I'm super soft. And that tissue usage got a little bit uptick the last 2 weeks. HV Christadot. Considering I got my ticket, Rob. I got my ticket to see Battle Beast. HV Christadot. I remember the band. Not really my cup of tea. That's what you get, HV Christadot, for that. Richard Curtis. I really liked the Chainsaw Man movie. Really looking forward to it, but I will try to see the first season first before I watch the movie. Altmetall, considering Begonia. Save the Green Planet is bonkers. I love it. Really need to see where I have the DVD of that movie. Rulat6611 informs me season 6 of Slow Horse, show that I totally love on Apple, is in the can. That's good to know. Walter Whitewalker, I'm afraid to start watching The Witcher season 4. I probably jumped off The Witcher after season 2. HV Christadot, I watched Guyver 1 and 2, Amazing Cheese Fest. I like the first one a little more. Actually, I'm on the other side of the spectrum. I actually like the second one a little more because the fights in the second one with those costumes I thought were awesome, and I'm still looking forward that someone put out a Blu-ray of the Guyver 2 Dark Hero. That's what I need, because the movies, I remember the German version were very heavily edited, and the American version was 2 hours long. I need Guyver Part 2 Dark Hero. Richard Curtis, I got Severance. Great little horror film. Agreed. 200 Watt Studio. Wow. DIETS First Hall had maybe 2 good films, which obviously shows how perhaps awful your own taste is. 200 Watt Studio. Kondo 0073. Kino Standes Peak with Dolby Atmos. Really? Yeah. Let's hear about it when it comes out finally, even if it got delayed a little bit. Major Chai. One day they're going to find Robert crushed under an avalanche of discs.
It's true.
Counts for me too. Zach Lowe says, Yo, finally catching a live stream. And Memphis Kane, Rob's garage is like a modern day Egyptian tomb treasure room. Alex Sorber, I always forget the member chats, and I quit drinking 5 years ago. Hopefully you were on the member chat yesterday. BCH, considering Rob showed the collection of it, Barbarian Sound Studio was okay. And Tom Merriman says, I got a lot of estate sales. Your family is going to treat your physical media like garbage, selling them for $1 or $2 if they don't throw them straight into the garbage. Yeah, can probably happen. Considering Rob,
that'll be like the end of some horror movie where they're just dumping bodies from the zombie apocalypse into some burning grave. All of our physical media is just coming out of the back of a truck. Yeah, nobody cares. It's like in Back to the Future 2 when all the laser discs are being dumped out in the alleyway. Sad.
3 weeks ago, you talked a little bit about in television. And Major Scheicher says, I'll come over and play with you.
Yes.
Alex Sorber wants to know, I showed this movie, Samurai Fury, any good? Unfortunately, I didn't get around to it. Can't tell you about it. HV Christendot, I showed the Terrifying Girls movie. Terrifying Girls is on my wish list. You made something good there. Planet 628, there are some cool scenes in Shin Godzilla that look like they are live action Genesis Evangelion. It comes from the same director.
Yeah.
And Alex Sorber says the same. Terrifying High Schools Girls is a must buy. Tom Merriman, I bought Outland 4K directly from Arrow. Not a good experience, and BCH continues. Their packaging is crap now. Yeah, they got a little bit wonky with their packaging. How is it called? Airjo says, "There's no way you watch all these Blu-rays." Yeah, you're right. There's actually no way.
So what? Wait. What's your point?
Your point is?
The point is, we need to know that we own the movie. That's all what we say here on this. We need to know we have that movie. It's not about watching. Adventure Square, because Criterion put out Altered States and History of Violence. And I think this is for History of Violence. Adventure Square says, great movie, terrible AI cover. And Don P1 says, I love Amazon regardless of their shortcomings here and there. The Alex Sorber, Criterion with some uneven cover designs. Altered States has brilliant cover art, while History of Violence looks like a 9-year-old threw up. Yeah. And Secular Monk says, sometimes I wonder who is behind the cover art for the Criterions. Does the director have to approve it? I have no idea if the director needs to approve it. And this one is thought this was very funny. Walter Whitewalker, the Maltese Falcon got a new book faster than George R.R. Martin will have Winds of Winter out.
and that book is The Return of the Maltese Falcon by Max Allan Collins.
Yeah.
Available on Amazon to pre-order.
It's starting to irritate me.
Martin taking an example of as Max is producing it. He's waiting in the wings. He's waiting in the sea wing until public domain is his. Valiant, Paul and Brunotto says, feeling great, always excited to be a part of this wonderful show. Brian Knight, Robert, just double checked. I still have all my Intellivision game cartridges, and I have to double check my console in my garage. The only problem I have is finding an adapter for modern LED TVs. Okay. Castle Grayskull, I would love to go to Japan one day, but I believe my next vacation is the UK and France, but not Saarbrücken, Germany. I'm disappointed, Grace, but understandable. BCH, Megan 2 was pretty silly, yeah, but great sloggy entertainment.
No, good movie.
It was disappointing, but Max and I thoroughly enjoyed Megan 2.0. Castle Grayskull wants to know, do you have mirrors on the ceiling? No, this is already enough stuff. Do you want to see it double and triple with mirrors?
Wait a minute. Depends what room you're talking about.
Yeah, depends on what room. But I don't have mirrors on the ceiling. Change?
Sea-Wing does.
Sea-Wing has mirrors
Sea-Wing,
everywhere.
correct.
That's where you hide the cameras.
And Change, 0302 says, 170 watching, 80 likes. What's up? Hit that like button.
Yeah, people always forget to hit the like button.
Yeah. And Castle Grayskull says, may I pretty please have the DVD? And I think what she's talking about is, of course, the cult movie Bang Boom Bang. Grace, I would love to send you the DVD. Problem, it's region coded. You would need a DVD player that is region free. And secondly, only the steelbook that Rob and Max says, so the newer edition from Turbine has English subtitles. The old release of Bang Boom Bang does not feature English subtitles. I would love to send you the disc, but you can't do anything, unfortunately. If you get the Blu-ray player, region code free, I gladly send you the Bang Boom Bang's movie, even if it's not available as a steelbook anymore, just as a standard memory. But this is the only edition that comes with English subtitles. Major Chai, I don't have Netflix, and still, you are alive. HV Crystal, Emperor's New Groove is awesome, and we can't wait for the 4K. Do we know if your bonus features are on the disc?
I don't. I really wish they were, because those bonus features are really cool. I mean, they're kind of goofy, and we kind of made the special features to fit along with the movie itself. And those are the second. I want to say they're the second special features I worked on after Fantasia. I think it was Emperor's New Groove. Okay. And I hope so, because I don't think they were on the. I think they were only on the DVD. I don't think they were on the
on the double disc set for
yeah, they're on the double disc set. I don't think they were on the Blu-ray though, which makes me sad.
Yeah, and Rob did show in the last news section, I believe, the German movie I never heard about, Taxi zum Klo, Taxi to the Loo.
Yeah,
and Alpital helps me out and says, I've never heard of that movie either. Okay, finally, and. You buy now, says, looking forward to White Devils. Hopefully you purchase it. And HV Crystal, Dieter, if you haven't seen the movie Cutie Honey, I recommend it. Okay. And Alpetal says, I don't come to Saarbrücken to see Battle Beast. That's your loss, Alpetal. And just quick, Rob, where do I have it? This was actually almost a live chat, but I did clipped out live chat from today before our show even was on the air, because we keep the people a little bit in suspense. Is this really the final episode? And Carl Cinema says, I hope it's not the last show, guys. And Valiant, Paul and Bonotto says, I don't think this will be the last episode. 2020 to be another exciting year of physical media goodness. And Diane C says, oh, thank God you are back. I thought something terrible had happened to DIETS. Missed you guys. And she said, goes on, you guys can't leave us. We love what you do. I've got so many films cause of you. That's always nice to hear. And Rob Tucker says, not the last show can do that to us. And Paul in Long Beach says, holy cow, I've been listening to DIETS gush about J-Lo and the Hunger Games for 5 years now. Forget RMB, Dieter, where has that time gone? And Secular Monk says, I can finally get my fix of Bastian. And Michael Lynch says, love the show, congrats. And Jimmy J. Jackson says, love your shows and collabs, Rob. Listening to you while walking or drawing is such a treat. That was actually from today, Rob, before actually the show went on the air.
Well, it's funny that you have super chats from today. I have a letter from today.
Oh, okay.
A letter. This comes from Lorenzo Fletcher, who writes, hello, gents. Happy 5th anniversary. I'm watching you as we speak. First of all, Max, I don't know if you know, but I wrote a script called The Supernaturals. Rob can email you the premise later. But I saw you were talking about the future of Warner Brothers. And as I recall, Max Allan Collins, my master, is doing a Mike Hammer movie at Paramount, Skydance, with David Ellison. And I was watching a video of David talking about why he bought Paramount. He basically said, I took over Paramount because the previous owners were using it to appease Wall Street. This new Paramount, we're not here to make one movie or two or three. We're here to make long-term, strong relationships with creatives and talent because they are valuable to us. Hell, Paramount Skydance is releasing Minority Report on 4K. However, with Comcast, they're an internet and broadcast provider. They would buy Warner Brothers and absorb it, like how Disney absorbed 20th Century Fox. Also, they are eventually going to shutter their home video arm, along with Warner Brothers Home Video, Warner Archive, etc., whereas with Paramount, under David Ellison, made it clear that Warner Brothers will remain autonomous and separate from Paramount, and they would make George Feltenstein one of their main priorities because Paramount needs a George Feltenstein in charge of their home video arm. Hell, they could combine Paramount, Warner Archive, and Warner Home Video into one and make George Feltenstein the head of the division, which they should do. That would be the best option, in my opinion. If anyone is going to preserve Warner's history, it's Paramount, because David Ellison is the man of the movies, as I call him, and he's putting Wall Street on notice. He's here to make movies and TV, not with analytics, but with creatives and talent. P.S. Max, your car is possessed. Run for your life. And that is from Lorenzo Fletcher. Now, I would say, yeah, I mean, I hope that's true. Unfortunately, you can't get away from Wall Street. And you can't get I mean, business is business. It ain't show friends, it's show business. The thing is that Larry Ellison, David Ellison's father, is one of the richest men in the world. And so when they do things, they're not necessarily motivated by profit, even though everybody is. And I do think Larry also has grander ambitions than just making movies. So it'll be interesting to see. We're seeing these larger and larger media conglomerates, which unfortunately makes the voices we hear from less and less and less. So could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. And Paramount has basically been gutted by all of these other boutique labels who have released all of their films. I mean, hell, we even had Kino Lorber release Max's favorite, The Two Jakes, in 4K. So, interesting letter. It's going to be interesting to see where it goes. The bids are in, and we'll see where it all shakes out. What do you think, boys? We've been on now for 3.5 hours.
For almost 4 hours. Yeah. I think we should slowly fade out.
A slow roll, huh? Is that what you're saying? Let me just make sure. I'm just checking the viewer activity here. Let's see. So we've got... let me go back up here. We have Carlo SP says thank you, sends a super sticker. And then Richard Curtis says, should Max also watch Sean Baker's Red Rocket and Wes Anderson's Bottle Rocket too? Have you seen those? You've seen them both? What do you think? Do you like them both?
Yes.
I loved Bottle Rocket, actually. I remember seeing that thinking, wow, we have a new voice. The Cali Kids sent 5 Burnettwork gift memberships. Thank you for that. I very much appreciate it. Come to those member calls. What is your favorite Kurt Vonnegut book, asks Richard. Curtis, I assume you've read at least one of his. Well, I read Slaughterhouse 5 after I saw the movie. And I've read Cat's Cradle. And what? Sirens of Titans is Kurt Vonnegut too, right, I think? Mm-hmm. Have you read any Kurt Vonnegut?
Kurt Vonnegut was and is one of my favorites. Slaughterhouse 5, at the University of Iowa in the Writers' Workshop, he had been teaching it the year before, and he came back to do a reading, and he read of his book in progress. It was Slaughterhouse 5.
Wow, dude.
I was in the front row looking at this guy. I had gone to the University of Iowa Writers' Workshop, in part because he taught there. But then he left before I got accepted, and he left. I don't know if there was a relationship between those two events, but so that's my favorite book by far, in part because I heard the first chapters read to me by Kurt Vonnegut sitting 5 or 6 feet from me.
Wow. And then of course you can't mention Kurt Vonnegut without talking about Kilgore Trout, dude. The great science fiction writer, Kilgore Trout.
Actually, my favorite science fiction writer.
Not a great movie. Breakfast of Champions. But you got to read that book, Kilgore Trout.
Kilgore Trout's through a lot of his books.
I know.
Yeah.
But was he introduced to... Was that the first book Kilgore Trout was in? Was Breakfast?
No, I mean I think he's in Cat's Cradle. He might even be in Sirens of Titan. I'm not sure.
He is in Cat's Cradle. He is in Sirens of Titan.
But he was a fabulously hilarious, sad man.
The best.
Unique to
Kilgore Trout's one of the great characters of. Would you call him a genre? Is Kilgore Trout a genre character? Like, would you call?
Well, Vonnegut wrote his first books for paperback originals.
Right.
Gold medal books, which was strictly a genre house. That's a house that Dieter, Mickey, wanted to do books like Mickey Spillane wrote. So they started this whole company called Gold Medal Books, Fawcett Books, put it out. And that's where Vonnegut began. He began at Dell Books, doing Sirens of Titan as a paperback original. So Vonnegut was a genre writer himself.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, he was a genre pastiche, really. I mean, Slaughterhouse-Five is such an interesting book and movie.
That's a science fiction novel.
Yeah. I mean, come on. You got aliens fucking around with.
I think he viewed himself as a science fiction writer. I really do.
And by the way, Tralfamadore is one of the great science fiction planet names.
Absolutely.
The planet Tralfamadore. I always love that. And Montana Wild Hack.
Now he was a national treasure. I'm glad I got to kind of meet him. I don't think I spoke to him afterwards, other than to say thank you, because he was somebody that made me want to be a writer.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he was incredible. And that was Vonnegut was a guy that you did you first read him in high school?
I did read him in high school. Yes.
Me too. Yeah. Yeah.
He was part of that, and I mentioned Pinch before. There were these groups that were called Black humorists, and Joseph Heller was the main one. And then
you wrote Catch-22.
Yes, Catch-22, and Pynchon was one, and Vonnegut was one. And I don't think his humor was that dark, really, although there was that. I mean, Slaughterhouse-Five is pretty dark, I guess, at its heart. But I loved all those writers. I would say, other than mystery fiction, that was what I was the most compelled to.
But it was also, like I was experiencing this stuff. I was too young to read it in the 70s. But I remember thinking there was a whole, in my own mind, there was this genre of it was a cross between satire, absurdist work, science fiction, politics. It was all, it seemed like it was very much born out of the 60s sensibility, like underground comics and that. And then it became like a literary. It's funny because Alvaro's, he talks about 70s science fiction, in his book Equimedian is sort of, it kind of slots in. I mean, I don't want to speak for him, but it kind of slots in. It reminded me of encountering that kind of literature because it's surreal. It's genre. It's very interesting. And I haven't read anything like that since. Really,
it was a unique moment. I think
maybe Infinite Jest could fit in with something like that, but I don't want to say that because that seems too. I don't know. Maybe. Hey, Dieter, Velion says he sent a letter to you to read.
Oh, Paul and Brunotto's letter. Correct. Let me just do. Here we go. From Paul and Brunotto. Let's get physical media, 5 years of physical media goodness. Hello, Rob, Dieter, and of course, the live chat. I think the live chat would agree with me by saying thank you both for 5 fantastic years of the best and most unique YouTube show focused on physical media. I admit I was late to the physical media train, but caught on after year 2 and never back. I was humbled when I asked my good friend Cynthia Rothrock if she wanted to be on the show, as I know Dieter would be tickled pink. As it turned out, it would be one of the best shows so far. You've had numerous YouTube film pundits, physical media experts, Bill Hunt and of course George Feltenstein, and Max Allan Collins' expertise on film noir remastered releases. My first physical media item was a book, Jonathan Livingston Seagull, by Richard Bach. I read it when I was 4 years old, 1971, which became a movie 2 years later. I was entranced by the book and got hooked on reading in general and read hundreds of paperback, hardcover books from Shakespeare, T. Williams, Agatha Christie, biographies, science fiction, movie novelization, all kinds of books as a child into adulthood. And being a lover of movies and music from all over the world from also a young age, I consider you, Rob, and Dieter to be my friends. So thank you so much for all that you do to encourage us physical media enthusiasts to always say yes when buying physical media. Here's looking forward to another 5 years of Let's Get Physical Media. And of course, catch you later. Love you guys, Paul, Allan, Drew, Notto. That was his letter. So
Very nice.
thank you for the super chat to remind me, Paul.
There's another super chat. I guess this is directed. I do not know the answer to this. Richard Curtis says, who was the author of Meditations in Green?
No idea.
I don't know. Hang on. Meditations in Green, the first novel written by Stephen Wright. It was published in 1983.
The comedian, Stephen Wright?
No, that's what I first thought when I saw it. I don't know. He's a Vietnam vet. The novel is based in part on Wright's own experience in Vietnam, though he has said, if I had just written an autobiographical novel, I wouldn't have been satisfied with that. I knew I had my hands on incredible material, and I wanted to do it the way I felt would be right, constructing a pleasing whole out of jagged pieces. Let's see what Stephen Wright, I don't know him. He's a novelist based in New York City for his use of surrealistic imagery and dark comedy. This sounds like it slots right into what we were talking about. His work has varied from hallucinatory accounts of war, UFO cultists, a family drama, a carnivalesque novel on a serial killer going native, to a picturesque taking place during the Civil War, the amalgamation of polka. Going Native was ranked 13 on Larry McCaffrey's 20th Century Greatest Hits 100 English Language Books of Fiction. I bet Alvaro knows that. And Don DeLeo liked Meditations in Green, so there you go. A prime novel, a pornographic twilight zone of BB-eyed serial killers, drug-stunned, pants-dropping road warriors, and marauding armies of mental vampires. A nightmarish county of unparalleled savagery where there's no longer any membrane between screen and life, and the monster image feed is inexhaustible. Fuck, man, count me in on that shit. I mean, what's not to love? Going Native? I got to read that. I don't know that book. I got to read it. Going Native. All right. Well, I guess we can end this show before somebody else sends us something. But I want to thank everybody. First of all, I want to thank my esteemed compatriots, Dieter Bastian, and this Johnny-come-lately guy, Max Allan Collins, who, by the way, has his book, The Return of the Maltese Falcon, coming out from Hard Case Crime in January, in case you didn't know or might have forgotten. And we also have our distribution deal for True Noir, the assassination of Anton Cermak. And you know, one of the great things about getting a distribution deal is you no longer will have to hear me play clips that you've heard 100 million times on the front of my shows, which is good. Now we just need a distribution deal for White Devils, and you won't have to watch anything at the beginning of these shows. So,
Rob, the people said you're muted.
I'm muted
in the chat at the moment. Yeah.
Am I?
You aren't here.
We hear you, Rob.
Yeah. Oh, wait. What happened? Hold on. Something
Robert
did.
Muted.
Something,
No sound.
Yeah, something
Can,
happened.
can you hear anyone of us people in the live chat? Sound
No.
is gone.
Let me
No audio on all three of us.
Max, can people hear you now?
I can hear me, and I can hear both of you.
Yeah, I think you can hear now. We're back. We're back now. I think I hit a button. I'm sorry. What I was going to say was, I said that it's great to be spending 5 years with my compatriot Dieter Bastian and this Johnny-come-lately here. I don't know if you could hear me. I don't know if you know this, but in January of 2026, the Return of the Maltese Falcon is coming, which you can go get right now. And what I was also saying is you'll never have to hear clips of True Noir anymore because we have distribution. Thanks to Max, you'll be able to get True Noir wherever audio dramas or wherever podcasts are, and you'll even be able to get it in libraries, and that's really exciting for me. So that's great. We did so much great work on that. And here's to another 5 years. We're not going anywhere until our AI overlords come to get us all. And who knows what's going to happen.
Can I just say thank you for including me, both of you gentlemen. I love my little niche here at the C Wing, and so a very sincere thank you and a congratulations on a great run that is still going to run.
I think
season 6.
Yeah, there's one thing that we have to deal with, and I think that we need to talk about the elephant in the room. If Barb is sending Dieter sweet nothings, does that mean that there's trouble on the home front there, Max? Because is she going to run away to Germany or what?
Judging by this morning, it's just fine.
Oh,
okay.
I'll say no more.
All right, that's what we like to hear. But I want to thank all of you out there for generously supporting this channel via super chats, tips, and memberships. And we had one of the better membership calls ever yesterday. It was so interesting because Roberto was gone, so I didn't cut people off after 7 minutes. We had some great, which is why it lasted 5 hours. What can I say?
Yeah.
You know me, because I don't like to talk. But it was great to have everybody. Thank you for that, and I appreciate you coming back. The audience for this show has not really grown, but we have a very loyal audience.
It's the same. It's the same people.
It's the same people. And I what I love is when people write to me and say, I don't even collect physical media, but I tune in just to watch you guys. Which that might be the greatest compliment of all.
That's a big plus, Rob. It's
a big plus. So I thank everybody that's watched this show for as long as they have. And it was born out of, it's funny, Dieter Bastian is my best friend that I've never actually met face to face. Like, Dieter, I don't want to know the answer to this, but I don't know whether you're tall, whether you're short. Like, when you see people online, like when I met Paulie from Latino Slant, he's like 6'2". He's a strapping, handsome guy. Like, I never would have known that. And, when you meet people in meet space that you only, because we're all sitting here, we don't know how. And I've met people that are much taller or shorter than I've thought, and it's always fun to meet people. And one day I will come to Saarbrücken. I'll give you enough room. Or
I will come to LA, Rob.
Or you will come to LA, yeah.
Or the other way.
There will be a place.
What about Iowa?
Or we go to Iowa. We got to go into Max Allan Collins' basement.
That's actually the middle meeting point, Rob. You know.
Yeah.
And I got to go into his basement. I never got to see Max's basement when I was there. So
some people never return.
I want to be one of them. I'm sure it'll be a rabbit hole like I've never seen before.
I literally had a very good friend, the actor Michael Cornelison, who liked to spend his vacation in my house. Not necessarily interacting with me.
Well, there is a lot to see, to be fair. There is a lot to see.
And you and I have met. I should point this way, I guess, right? but Rob and I have met. We've been in the same space together.
Well, we've been at San Diego Comic-Con together.
Yeah.
We've been you're going to see an interview that we did at a speakeasy in downtown Davenport. Was it Davenport that we did that?
Yep.
So there you go. Very excited.
But until all three of us are together in one space, it's going to be a lesser experience. We all need to be in one place.
Well, I read an article today that said that 3i Atlas was somehow communicating with the CERN, atom smasher, the CERN, and somehow 3i. So I'm going to go watch that Disclosure documentary. I'm going to hope that 3i Atlas turns out to be extraterrestrial visitor, and it's actually working with CERN to reshape reality. But until then,
is that called Age of?
Yes, Age of Disclosure.
Age of Disclosure.
Yeah, and I've heard that. I hope they have a Age of Aquarius like song. Because when the moon was in the 7th house and Jupiter aligns with Mars, disclosure is gonna happen in 2027.
Works better naked, Rob.
Yeah, it's true. I often sing the Age of Aquarius or just Aquarius to people in.
Just in the nude.
Because why not? Why not? If you can do it, you should. Let me just check Stream Elements and make sure there's not any. We just got another super chat in.
Thomas Logan said you missed some of his super chat with Spotnets. Something with Spotnets.
Oh, you know what? I passed that on purpose. He wanted me to tell the Frank Spotnitz story. That was last night. Holy moly! It was last night, but I did see it. I'll tell you I'll tell that story on tonight on Let's Get on Robservations. Yeah. The Cali Kid says, hot take, I prefer the Maltese Falcon over Casablanca. Your thoughts?
Me too.
Oh, that's not a hot take. See, Cali Kid is not as hot take as we were led to believe. Yeah. So much the better. All right, gentlemen, ladies, boys and girls, gentle beings, kind souls, however you identify across the 28 known galaxies. We're going to end
Season
this show.
5 comes to a close.
Yeah. Remember, every person you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear. And all you have to do is listen. And with that, we end our 5th anniversary Let's Get Physical Media. By the way, I want to give a final shout out to the late, great Xevious, who created the artwork for this show. Yeah. We lost him. He is no longer with us, Christopher. And he was a great artist, and he created this beautiful image, including the logo. And he is missed. And he did a lot of work for the channel, and kind of the look of this channel has a lot to do with Xevious's work. So thank you wherever you are, sir. Rest in peace. You are remembered. So with that, I say to everyone, have a better day. All right, boys, we are out.
Rob.
Almost at the